My Billionaire Bae by Tyla Walker.
What happens when a sexy journalist gets her first investigative break? Falls for her target.
Sounds like my new favorite book, dangerous and irresistible.
Oh, it is. YouTube can't handle all the steamy details.
Where can our listeners dive into this forbidden romance?
At TylaWalker.com, of course. Use code SAVE40 for a sinful 40% discount.
Ready to step into the shadows? I know I am.
Show your support for Miss Tyla's free audiobooks by liking this video so that she can continue to release these free of charge on YouTube.
Speaking of releases, make sure you subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay in the loop on her daily releases.
This is Tyla Walker's My Billionaire Bae.
Chapter 1. Jasmine. The click-clack of my heels echoes through the bustling city streets as I speed walk towards the office, my coffee sloshing dangerously close to the lid with each step. I fumble with my phone, scrolling through my daily agenda while trying not to spill my liquid lifeline. Another riveting day of reporting on the latest trends in office supplies. I mutter to myself, rolling my eyes. My column, Staples of Success, is about as exciting as watching paint dry. But it pays the bills, and I haven't gotten my hands on anything thrilling in a while. Investigative journalism is why I was hired, or at least I thought it was. When I actually started working, they assigned me to a column I knew nothing about. Might as well be an expert now. As I push through the revolving doors of the newspaper building, I'm greeted by the familiar cacophony of ringing phones and clacking keyboards. "Morning, Jasmine," calls out Sarah from reception, ready for another thrilling expose on paper clips. I flash her a wry smile. "You know it. I hear there's a new ergonomic stapler hitting the market. Hold the presses." Making my way to my desk, I nod and wave to my colleagues, most of whom are already engrossed in their work. I plop down in my chair, ready to dive into the fascinating world of three-hole punches when, "Thomas, my office now." My boss's booming voice cuts through the office chatter like a knife. Heads turn, and suddenly I feel like I'm under a microscope. What did I do? Did someone finally realize that my last article on pencil sharpeners was mostly fiction? I stand up, smoothing out my skirt and taking a deep breath. "Coming, Mr. Jameson." As I walk towards his office, I can feel the eyes of my coworkers on me. I hear whispers behind cupped hands. What did she do this time? $10 says she's getting canned? Nah, probably just another boring assignment. I square my shoulders and knock on the doorframe. Mr. Jameson is hunched over his desk, his bald spot gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "You wanted to see me, sir?" He looks up, his bushy eyebrows furrowing. "Close the door, Thomas. We need to talk." My heart races as I shut the door behind me. This is it. I'm either getting fired or promoted to covering stapler reviews. I'm not sure which is worse. "Have a seat," he grunts, gesturing to the chair across from him. I perch on the edge of the seat, my back ramrod straight. "Is everything all right, Mr. Jameson? If this is about the pencil article, I can explain." He holds up a hand, cutting me off. "This isn't about your coverage of office supplies, Thomas. It's about your future at this paper." I lean forward, my heart pounding against my ribcage. "My future at the paper? Mr. Jameson, I know the pencil article wasn't that great, but..." He waves his hand dismissively. "Forget the damn pencils, Thomas. I've got something big for you. Real big." My eyes widen. Could this be it? The break I've been waiting for? "I'm listening," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Mr. Jameson leans back in his chair, the leather creaking under his weight. "There's been a string of disappearances. Young women and children. The police are stumped, but we've got a lead." I can't help but lean in closer. A lead? Ever heard of Declan Reed? The name rings a bell, but I can't place it. The tech guy, CEO of Something or other? Mr. Jameson nods. Reed Technologies. He's a big shot, Thomas. Philanthropist, charmer, the whole 9 yards. But we've got an anonymous tip linking him to these disappearances. My mind races. A high-profile case like this could be my ticket out of office supply hell. What kind of link? That's what you're going to find out. He slides a file across the desk. Everything we know is in here. It's not much, but it's a start. I flip through the file, my excitement growing with each page. Mr. Jameson, this is huge. Are you sure you want me on this? He fixes me with a stern look. You've got potential, Thomas. It's why I pushed for you to be hired. Don't make me regret this decision. I won't let you down, I promise, clutching the file to my chest. Good, because if Reed is involved in this, it's going to be dangerous. You'll need to be careful, smart, and above all, discreet, which I trust you know well. I nod, determination flooding through me. Absolutely. Where do I start? Do your research, become an expert on Reed Technologies and the company history. Get close to him. See what you can find out. My mind is already spinning with possibilities. Consider it done. As I stand to leave, Mr. Jameson calls out, "And Thomas?" I turn back. "Yes? Don't screw this up. A lot of families are counting on us to find the truth." The weight of responsibility settles on my shoulders. I understand. I'll find out what's going on, Mr. Jameson. Whatever it takes. I clutch the file to my chest as I exit Mr. Jameson's office, my mind racing with possibilities. This is it, my big break. No more mind-numbing articles about office supplies. I'm finally getting a chance to sink my teeth into some real investigative journalism for the paper, to put my degree to work. At my desk, I pull up Reed's company website, scanning through the glossy photos and carefully worded mission statements. Everything looks perfect on the surface. Too perfect. "What are you hiding, Mr. Reed?" I mutter under my breath, clicking through to his biography. The photo shows a man in his early 30s, with piercing blue eyes and a smile that could charm the birds from the trees. But there's something in those eyes, a hint of something deeper, darker. I lean back in my chair, tapping my pen against my lips. This may be the most important assignment of my life, if I can get to the bottom of it. But how do I get close to one of the most influential men in the city without raising suspicion? I need to dig deeper, to find the cracks in Reed's perfect facade. And I need to do it without tipping him off. I glance at the clock. 5 hours until I can leave the office and really dive into this. 5 hours of pretending to be engrossed with my other projects, when this case has now become my top priority. I take a deep breath, steadying myself. This is what I've been waiting for, my chance to make a difference, to uncover the truth. "Game on, Declan Reed," I whisper, a determined smile playing on my lips. "Let's see what you're really made of."
Chapter 2. Declan. I step out of my Aston Martin, tossing the keys to the valet. "Don't scratch it," I warn, my voice low and commanding. The young man nods, his eyes wide with a mix of awe and fear. The lobby of Reed Technologies gleams with polished marble and sleek glass. Employees scurry out of my path, their whispers following me like a wake. "Morning, Mr. Reed," my assistant Sarah falls into step beside me. "Your 9 a.m. canceled, but I've scheduled a meeting with R&D at 11. "Fine," I grunt, striding into the elevator. The doors close, leaving us alone. "Any word from accounting?" Sarah hesitates. "They're still working on those discrepancies you found." My jaw clenches. Crap. Tell them I want answers by end of day. No excuses. The elevator dings, opening onto the executive floor. I march towards my office, my temples throbbing with the start of a headache. Declan! A booming voice stops me in my tracks. Richard, head of sales, approaches with a grin. How about those quarterly numbers, huh? We're crushing it. I force a smile. Keep it up, Richard. We've got shareholders to impress. His smile falters slightly at my tone. Good. I need them sharp, not complacent. Shutting my office door behind me, I loosen my tie and sink into my chair. The view of the city skyline does nothing to ease the knot in my stomach. I pull up the company's financial records on my computer, the figures swimming before my eyes. Something's off. I can feel it in my gut. A knock at the door. What? I snap. Sarah pokes her head in. Your father's old files are here, sir. Where would you like them? I wave her in. Just leave them on the desk. She sets down a heavy box, shooting me a concerned look before leaving. I ignore it, reaching for the files. Dust coats my fingers as I flip through years of my father's meticulous records. Everything seems in order, but it would take weeks, hell, maybe even months, before I even made a dent in this paperwork. But I have to do something. What the hell were you up to, old man? I mutter. I lean back in my my chair now, and rub my temples. The leather creaks, a sound that used to comfort me. Now it just reminds me of the weight pressing down on my shoulders. Hell, I mutter, staring at the spreadsheet on my screen. The numbers don't add up, and it's giving me a migraine. My mind drifts back to that day, barely 2 months ago. I'd been going through the books, trying to make sense of the mess of paperwork Dad forced on me when I got the call. An accident, they said. Convenient timing, if you ask me. Mr. Reed, Sarah's voice crackles through the intercom. Your mother's on line 1. I groan. Tell her I'm in a meeting. She says it's urgent. It's always urgent with her, I grumble, but pick up the phone anyway. Hey, Mom. Declan, darling, she trills. Have you RSVP'd for the governor's dinner yet? You know how important these events are for the family's image. I pinch the bridge of my nose. Mom, I'm kinda in the middle of something here. Oh, nonsense. Your father always made time for these things. It's how we maintain our influence, you know. Yeah, I know. All too well. I'll get to it, Mom. Promise. I hang up before she can protest and turn back to the screen. The discrepancy glares at me, a neon sign screaming that something's not right. Dad's political connections, his influential circles. It's all starting to smell fishier than a dock at low tide. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Meeting. Tonight. 10 p.m. The usual place. My stomach drops. I know exactly who it's from, and it's not a social call. These guys, Dad's business associates, they're not the type you say no to. Not if you want to keep breathing. I slam my laptop shut and stand, pacing the office. How the hell did I end up here? 1 minute I'm living the trust fund life, the next I'm juggling a tech empire, political schmoozing, and whatever this is. Dad made it look so easy. But then again, Dad had years to perfect his balancing act. Me? I'm just trying not to fall flat on my face. I stop at the window, staring out at the city below. Somewhere out there, normal people are living normal lives. Must be nice. Sarah, I bark into the intercom. I don't want to be disturbed. Cancel everything for the rest of the day. But sir, you have a... I said cancel everything, I growl, cutting her off. And get me a coffee. Black. Strong enough to wake the dead. I turn back to the sea of papers spread across my desk. Dad's handwriting stares back at me, neat and precise. Just like him. Always in control. Always one step ahead. Or so I thought. My eyes catch on a series of transactions, each one more puzzling than the last. They're all above board on paper, but something doesn't add up. I should know. I've spent years perfecting the art of cooking books without leaving a trace. A soft knock interrupts my thoughts. Sarah enters, setting a steaming mug on my desk. Thanks, I grunt, not looking up. She hesitates. Is everything all right, Mr. Reed? It's fine. I lie smoothly. Just the bore of paperwork. She nods, unconvinced, but knows better than to push. As the door closes behind her, I turn back to the files, determination setting in. I've built this company into a fortress, impenetrable to outsiders. Every transaction, every deal, every under-the-table exchange, I've kept it all airtight. But these numbers, they're telling a different story. My father's legacy, my future, it's all tied up in these papers. And I'll be damned if I let some hidden skeleton in his closet bring it all crashing down. I crack my knuckles, ready to dive back in. Whatever's going on, I'm going to find out. And when I do, heads are gonna roll.
Chapter 3. Jasmine. I lean against the cool brick wall, my heart racing as I spot Declan Reed approaching his favorite bistro. God, he's even more stunning in person. Those piercing blue eyes, that chiseled jaw, and the way his tailored suit hugs his muscular frame. Focus, Jasmine. You're here on a mission, not to ogle the subject of your investigation. Taking a deep breath, I time my steps perfectly to accidentally bump into him, just as he exits the cafe, coffee in hand. "Oh," I exclaim, feigning surprise as our bodies collide. What happens next feels like slow motion. Declan's coffee flies from his grip, the lid popping off midair. A wave of hot liquid cascades down my chest, soaking through my crisp white shirt. "Crap," Declan curses, his eyes widening as he takes in the damage. "I'm sorry. I didn't see you there." I gasp, more from the shock of the hot liquid than any real pain. "Seriously?" I snap, trying to maintain my composure. Declan's gaze flicks down to my chest, then quickly back up to my face. Just as planned, the coffee has soaked into the white blouse and made it completely see-through. He just got an eyeful of my very expensive, very lacy bra. A mix of guilt and something else flashes in his eyes. "I didn't see you there." I look down, pretending to just notice the state of my clothing. "Oh, wow. Yeah, clearly." Without missing a beat, I lock eyes with him and say, "I'm going to need your shirt." Declan's eyebrows shoot up. "Excuse me?" "Your shirt," I repeat, my fingers already working on the buttons of my own. "I can't walk around like this. I have a meeting and I need to make a good impression. And plus, you owe me." For a moment, he seems too stunned to respond. Then a slow, amused smile spreads across his face. "Well, when you put it that way..." He glances around, then steps closer, using his body to shield me from view. I slip my arms out of my ruined shirt, hyper-aware of Declan's proximity. "Here," he says, shrugging off his jacket and unbuttoning his own shirt with quick, efficient movements. God, that body. I look up from buttoning his shirt, my fingers fumbling with the last button. That's when I notice it. A hint of dark ink peeking out from beneath Declan's hastily donned jacket. Tattoos. On a corporate bigwig. Sexy. I mean, interesting. Interesting. "Well, thanks for the shirt," I say, smoothing down the fabric. "It smells like him. A mix of expensive cologne and something uniquely male." I should get going. I turn to leave, but his voice stops me. "Wait. Yes?" I pause, glancing back over my shoulder. "Yes?" Declan takes a step closer, his eyes roaming over me in a way that makes my skin tingle. "I can't let you walk away without at least getting your name." I quirk an eyebrow. "Oh? And why's that?" "Because," he says, his voice dropping to a low rumble, "I need to know who's walking the city in my shirt." I can't help but laugh. Smooth. I can't help but notice how unfairly good Declan looks, even with just the suit jacket. The way it hugs his broad shoulders makes my mouth go dry. I force myself to snap out of it. "Focus, Jasmine. You're here for a reason." That's when I catch him. His eyes are fixed on my chest. Well, his shirt on my chest. The crisp white fabric clings to my curves in a way my blouse never did. I clear my throat, and his gaze snaps back up to my face. "See something you like?" I tease, unable to help myself. Declan doesn't miss a beat. "Just admiring how much better that shirt looks on you than it ever did on me." I roll my eyes, but I can feel a smile tugging at my lips. "Flattery will get you nowhere." "No?" He arches an eyebrow. "How about a phone number then?" I pretend to consider it for a moment. I don't know. I make it a policy not to give my number to strange men who spill coffee on me. "Even if said strange man owes you a freshly laundered blouse?" He counters, a glint in his eye. "Tell you what," I say, an idea forming. "You can have my number on one condition." "Name it." "You only call me when you have my blouse cleaned and ready to return." I hold out my hand. "Deal?" Declan grins, taking my hand in a firm shake. "Deal. Though I have to warn you, I know a guy who can get that cleaned in record time." I laugh, pulling out a scrap of paper and scribbling my cell number on the back. "I'm sure you do." As I hand over the card, our fingers brush. A jolt of electricity shoots up my arm, and for a second I forget why I'm here. "Well," I say, taking a step back, "I should really get going. Thanks again for the shirt." "Declan, my pleasure," he says, his voice low and warm. I look forward to our next encounter. I turn and walk away, feeling his eyes on me. "Wait, don't I get a name?" he calls after me. A smile spreads across my face as I continue strutting off. Phase 1 of getting closer to Declan Reed. Complete. Now to dig deeper into those mysterious disappearances.
Chapter 4. Declan. I slam my fist on the desk, sending papers flying. Damn! The numbers swim before my eyes, mocking me. Where the hell is all this money going? Reed Technologies has always been a front for some shady crap, but this is next level. Someone's siphoning off funds right under my nose, and I can't figure out who or how. I lean back, rubbing my temples. The weight of it all presses down on me like a ton of bricks. If I can't get a handle on this soon, the whole house of cards might come tumbling down. My eyes drift to the scrap of paper on my desk, a phone number signed with just the letter J. The woman from this morning, all sass and curves in that see-through shirt. For a moment, I'm back on that sidewalk, watching her unbutton her blouse without a hint of shame. "Get it together, Reed," I mutter, shaking my head. I've got bigger fish to fry than some random hottie I bumped into. But damn if she wasn't intriguing. I pick up my phone, twirling it in my hand. Maybe a distraction is exactly what I need right now. Clear my head, come back to this mess with fresh eyes. Before I can talk myself out of it, I'm dialing the number. It rings once, twice. On the third ring, a sultry voice answers. "Hello? Hey, it's Declan, the guy who ruined your shirt this morning." A pause, then a low chuckle. Well, I didn't expect to hear from you so soon. Miss me already?" I can't help but grin. "Just wanted to let you know your shirt's at the cleaners. Should be ready tomorrow." "My hero," she purrs. But somehow I doubt that's the only reason you called. I lean back in my chair, a smirk playing on my lips. "So, Joy, what are you up to tonight?" "Why? Planning on ruining more of my clothes?" Her voice drips with sass. "Depends. You offering?" I counter, enjoying our verbal sparring. She laughs, a rich sound that sends a jolt through me. "Careful, Declan. A girl might get ideas." "Good," I grunt, trying not to let on how turned on just her voice gets me. My mind flits to the memory of her see-through shirt. "Here's an idea for you. You're having dinner with me tonight. There's a pause on the other end of the line. I can almost hear the gears turning in her head. Is that so? It is. I lean forward, elbows on my desk. Aren't you presumptuous? She retorts, but I catch the hint of intrigue in her voice. It's called confidence. You should try it sometime. Oh, I've got plenty of confidence, she purrs. The question is, can you handle it? I chuckle, low and dark. Trust me, I can handle anything you throw my way. We'll see about that. There's a challenge in her words that makes my blood sing. All right, Mr. Bossy. Where and when? I'll pick you up outside that cafe. 8 o'clock. I pause, savoring the moment. Wear something nice. I want to see what you look like when you're not wearing my clothes. And here I thought you enjoyed the view this morning. See you soon. The line goes dead, and I'm left staring at my phone, a grin spreading across my face. Damn, I haven't felt this alive in years. Whatever game she's playing, I'm all in. I glance at my watch. 6 hours until I see her again. It's going to be a long afternoon. I pull up to the bistro, my heart racing like I'm some goddamn teenager. As I step out of the car, I spot her. Holy crap. Jay, as I've assumed her name with her vague signing, is standing there in a sleek black dress that hugs every curve. Her legs go on for miles, ending in stilettos that could probably kill a man. And her hair? It's falling in loose waves around her shoulders, begging me to run my fingers through it. Well, well, she purrs as I approach. You clean up nice. I grin, drinking her in. You're not so bad yourself. Such a charmer, she teases, her eyes sparkling. I open the car door for her, catching a whiff of her perfume as she slides in. It's intoxicating, and I have to take a deep breath before I join her. The drive to the restaurant is filled with playful banter. She's quick-witted, matching me quip for quip. It's refreshing as hell. At the restaurant, I help her out of the car, my hand lingering on the small of her back. The maitre d' leads us to a secluded table, and I pull out her chair. Such a gentleman, Jay says, a hint of amusement in her voice. I lean in close as I push in her chair. Don't get used to it, sweetheart. She laughs, a sound that sends a jolt through me. Wouldn't dream of it. We order drinks, and as the waiter leaves, Jay leans forward, her elbows on the table. So, Declan, tell me, what's a guy like you do for fun? I smirk. Who says I'm not doing it right now? She raises an eyebrow. Smooth. But seriously, there's got to be more to you than just being a successful businessman. So you know who I am? I realize, trying not to sound as disappointed as I feel. She rolls her eyes with a smile. You're on the cover of a new magazine every week, Mr. Declan Reed. Everyone knows who you are. You'd be surprised, I say, thinking of the clusterflop waiting for me back at the office. But I push it aside. Tonight's gonna be about her. What about you? What does Jay do when she's not stealing men's shirts? She laughs again, and damn if it isn't the best sound I've heard in years. Oh, you know, the usual. Long walks on the beach, reading by candlelight, serial killer documentaries. I nearly choke on my drink. Serial killers, huh? Should I be worried? Her eyes glint mischievously. Only if you have something to hide. If she only knew. The rest of the dinner flies by in a blur of witty exchanges and lingering glances. Jay's not just gorgeous. She's smart as hell and funny to boot. For the first time in ages, I find myself genuinely enjoying someone's company.
Chapter 5. Jasmine. Declan's sleek sports car pulls up to the curb outside the bistro, the engine purring to a stop. I unbuckle my seatbelt, my heart racing with a mix of anticipation and guilt. Well, Jay, Declan says, his voice low and husky. He leans in close, his breath warm on my cheek. You're not like anyone I've ever met, Jay. I turn to face him, our lips mere inches apart. Is that a good thing? I hope to find out, he murmurs, his hand sliding to the nape of my neck. The tension between us is electric, crackling in the small space of the car. I can smell his cologne, a heady mix of sandalwood and something uniquely him. My eyes flick down to his lips, full and inviting. Just as he's about to close the distance, I pull back, a coy smile playing on my lips. Thanks for dinner. We should do this again sometime. His eyes darken with desire and frustration. Tease, he mutters, but there's a hint of amusement in his tone. I wink at him as I open the car door. Good night, Mr. Reed. As I walk away, the click of my heels on the pavement matches the pounding of my heart. The cool night air does little to calm the heat rising in my cheeks. I force myself not to look back, even as I hear Declan's car roar to life and speed away. Once I'm sure he's gone, I let out a shaky breath. The guilt hits me like a sucker punch to the gut. The charm, the wit, the way he looked at me. He thinks it's real, but I can't forget why I'm here by feeling bad for him. He's a criminal, I whisper to myself, clenching my fists. Just like his father. You're doing the right thing, Jasmine. Focus on the story. But as I hail a cab to take me home, I can't shake the feeling that there's more to Declan Reed than meets the eye. And for the first time in my career, I'm not sure if I'm ready to uncover the truth. I kick off my heels and slump onto the couch, my mind still reeling from the evening. The soft fabric of my worn pajamas is a stark contrast to the sleek dress I'd worn to dinner. I grab my phone and dial my boss. Jasmine, what have you got? Mr. Jameson's gruff voice comes through the speaker. Well, I've made contact with Reed, I say, twirling a strand of hair around my finger. He's interesting. Interesting how? Did you get anything useful? I hesitate, remembering Declan's intense gaze, the way his fingers brush mine over the table. Nothing concrete yet. He's guarded, but I think he's starting to trust me. Jameson sighs. We need more than that, Jasmine. This story could blow the lid off one of the biggest criminal operations in the city. I know, I say, pinching the bridge of my nose. What's our next move? Keep getting close to him. See if you can get access to his office or home. There's got to be evidence somewhere. My stomach twists at the thought of betraying Declan's trust, but I push the feeling aside. Got it. I'll work on that. Good. And Jasmine? Jameson's tone turns serious. Be careful. These people are dangerous. Always am, I reply, ending the call. I toss my phone aside and lean back, closing my eyes. Declan's face swims into view, his sharp jawline, those piercing blue eyes, the hint of tattoos peeking out from under his collar. For a criminal, he's undeniably attractive. Get it together, Jasmine. Seriously, I mutter to myself, shaking my head. He's a story, not a potential boyfriend. I settle into my favorite armchair, laptop balanced precariously on my knees. The soft glow of the screen illuminates my face as I type furiously, recording every detail of my dinner with Declan. Charming but guarded, I mutter, fingers flying over the keys. Definitely hiding something. I pause, chewing on my bottom lip. The memory of Declan's intense gaze sends a shiver down my spine. Shaking my head, I refocus on the task at hand. I dive back into my research, scouring public records and news articles for any hint of Declan's involvement in the disappearances. Hours pass, and my eyes start to blur from staring at the screen. Time for a refill, I groan, stretching as I head to the kitchen. The rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air as I pour myself another late-night cappuccino. Just as I'm adding a splash of cream, my phone buzzes on the counter. I grab it, nearly spilling my drink in the process. It's a message from Declan. Can't stop thinking about you. Dinner again tomorrow? My heart races, and I can't help the smile that spreads across my face. I type out a response, aiming for playful and flirtatious. Only if I get my blouse back. I hit send before I can overthink it. Seconds later, my phone buzzes again. Declan. Deal. I'll even throw in dessert. My cheeks heat up at the suggestive tone. I'm about to respond when I remember why I'm doing this in the first place. Guilt twists in my gut as I open a new message to Mr. Jameson. It worked, I type. He's hooked. I stare at the screen, my finger hovering over the send button. The weight of what I'm doing settles on my shoulders. Am I really ready to potentially ruin someone's life for a story? But then I think of the missing women and children, their families, desperate for answers. I press send.
Chapter 6. Declan. I pull up to the curb outside the cafe, my heart racing a little faster than I'd like to admit. Jay's standing there looking like a goddamn dream in a sundress that hugs her curves in all the right places. I grab the neatly folded blouse from the passenger seat and step out of the car. Here's your shirt, good as new, I say, handing it over with a smirk. Though I gotta say I prefer you in mine. Jay takes the blouse, her fingers brushing mine. Thanks, Declan. Ready to go? After you. I open the car door for her, catching a whiff of that perfume again. How opposed are you to a change of plans? Jay asks, and pleading grin on her face. Depends on if this change of plans would be as fruitful as going to dinner with you. I respond. Well, I seem to have missed penciling it in on my calendar, but my cousin is having a birthday party today. Would you care to join me? I nearly choke. A family party? Isn't that moving a bit fast? She laughs, the sound making my chest tighten. Scared of meeting the moms? Or maybe the dads? Jay lets out a mock gasp. Don't tell me those magazines are right about you being a playboy. Please, I scoff, giving her my best unamused glare. Parents love me. Then you'll be fine, she says with a wink. Great. So if I say no, not only will I be telling her I'm scared of meeting parents, but I'll just be an outright prick. I'm waiting on you, sweetheart, I say, revving the engine. Buckle up. Doesn't take long before I pull up to a quaint two-story house nestled in a neat row of similar homes. The lawn's freshly mowed, and there's a birthday banner hanging above the garage. No going back now. Jay hops out before I can open her door. Come on, Slowpoke, they don't bite much. I follow her up the path, adjusting my collar. I'm not worried about biting. I usually know what I'm getting into. She laughs, reaching for the doorbell. Oh, please. Mr. Big Shot CEO is scared because he couldn't prepare his speech? I eat corporate sharks for breakfast. Family? That's a whole different ballgame. The door swings open, revealing a woman who, by her reaction, is clearly Jay's mom. Sweetie, you made it! She pulls Jay into a hug, then turns to me. And who's this handsome young man? Jay introduces me. Mom, this is Declan. Declan, meet my mom, Mary. I turn on the charm. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mary. Your daughter's told me so much about you. In the 2 days I've known her. Mary beams. Oh, has she now? All good things, I hope. Come in, come in. We step inside and I'm hit with the smell of something delicious baking. A man appears from what I assume is the kitchen. There's my girl, he booms, wrapping Jay in a bear hug. He eyes me over her shoulder. And who's this? Jay extricates herself. Dad, meet Declan. Declan, my dad, Mike. I extend my hand. Sir, it's great to meet you. Mike's grip is firm. Declan, huh? What do you do, Declan? Before I can answer, another voice cuts in. For Christ's sake, Mike, let the man breathe before you start the interrogation. An older man, probably in his 60s, strolls in from the living room. Jay grins. Uncle Pete, how are you? As they hug, a younger guy about Jay's age follows. Jay, you made it. Jay breaks away from her uncle to hug the newcomer. Happy birthday, cuz! Declan, this is my cousin Alex. It's his party we're crashing. I nod at Alex. Happy birthday, Alex. Thanks for having me. Alex grins. Any friend of Jay's is welcome here. Come on in, grab a drink. We've got plenty to go around. As the party goes on, I watch Jay interact with her family. She's in her element, cracking jokes with her uncles, cooing over her little cousins, and helping her aunt in the kitchen. It's like seeing a whole new person, and damn if it isn't just as attractive. You're staring, she says, sidling up to me with 2 beers. I take one, letting my fingers linger on hers. Can you blame me? You're mesmerizing. Jay raises an eyebrow. Smooth talker. Just honest, I reply, taking a swig of beer. You know, watching you with your family, it's nice. You're different here. Different how? I lean in close, my lips almost brushing her ear. Softer. More open. It's sexy as hell. She pulls back, her eyes meeting mine. There's a spark there that makes my blood run hot. I can't take my eyes off Jay as she laughs at one of her uncle's terrible jokes. Her smile lights up the whole damn room, and I find myself grinning like an idiot. Where the hell has this woman been all my life? We drift away from the crowd, finding a quiet spot on the back porch. The night air's cool, but Jay's presence next to me is warm. So, Mr. CEO, she says, nudging me with her elbow. Tell me something about yourself that isn't in those glossy magazine spreads. I chuckle, taking a swig of my beer, which she kindly replaces if she ever catches it empty. What? You mean you don't believe everything you read? Please, she scoffs. I know how much bullcrap gets printed. Her honesty catches me off guard, and before I know it, I'm spilling my guts. My dad died last year. Car accident. Jay's face softens. Crap, Declan. I'm sorry. I shrug, trying to play it cool. It was sudden. 1 minute he's there, the next. I trail off, shaking my head. She reaches out, her hand on my arm. The touch sends electricity through my body. That must have been tough. Yeah, well, I clear my throat. Life goes on, right? Had to step up, take over the company. Jay's eyes light up with interest. That's right. You inherited Reed Tech. How's that going? The question hits me like a punch to the gut. Guilt washes over me as I think about the truth behind the company's success. I can't tell her. Of course I can't. It's challenging, I say, choosing my words carefully. But we're doing well. Jay leans in, her voice low and teasing. Come on, there's got to be more to it than that. Any juicy corporate secrets you want to share? My heart races. Does she know something? Is she fishing for information? Or am I just being paranoid? I force a laugh, trying to keep my cool. Sorry, sweetheart. Those are strictly need to know. She pouts playfully, and damn if it doesn't make me want to spill every secret I've ever had. Not even a little hint? I lean in close, my lips almost brushing her ear. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. Jay pulls back, her eyes meeting mine, searching. There's a spark there that makes my blood run hot. Very cute, she teases, tucking some of her hair back. But as I look at her, all I can think about is how being around me might put her in danger. The thought chills me to the bone.
Chapter 7. Jasmine. I lean back in the porch swing, the gentle creaking of the chains a soothing backdrop to the chaotic thoughts swirling in my mind. Declan sits beside me, his warmth radiating through the space between us. The soft glow from the porch light casts shadows across his face, accentuating the sharp angles of his jaw and the furrow in his brow. You okay? He asks, his voice low and husky. I force a smile. Yeah, just thinking. He nods, his eyes searching mine. Yeah, I don't really share much about my life. The guilt gnaws at me. This isn't how it was supposed to go. I invited him here to speed things up, to get closer to the truth about his criminal activities. But now, well, I appreciate you being open with me, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. Declan runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I'm starting to recognize as a sign of vulnerability. Yeah. Don't get used to it, sweetheart. My heart skips a beat. Damn it. This isn't part of the plan. Tell me more about your company, I prod gently, trying to steer the conversation back to safer waters. It must be challenging, taking over after your father's passing. A shadow passes over his face. It's complicated. There's a lot I'm still figuring out. I lean in, curiosity piqued. Like what? He hesitates, and for a moment I see a flicker of something in his eyes. Fear? Guilt? It's gone before I can be sure. Just business stuff. Boring financial crap. He deflects with a forced chuckle. Kind of a mood killer. I'm about to press further when he suddenly stands, offering his hand. How about we rejoin the party? I'd love to hear more embarrassing stories about you from your family. As I take his hand, feeling the roughness of his palm against mine, I can't shake the feeling that there's more to Declan Reed than meets the eye. And for the first time since this assignment began, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As we step back inside, the warmth of the house envelops us. The chatter and laughter of my family fill the air, and I can't help but feel a twinge of guilt. These people aren't my real family, just actors hired for this charade. But Declan doesn't know that. There you two are, my fake Aunt Marge exclaims, waving us over. Declan, honey, come tell us more about your business. It sounds fascinating. I tense up, ready to deflect, but Declan surprises me. He laughs, easy and relaxed. Oh, trust me, it's not that exciting. Just a lot of numbers and boring meetings. I'd much rather hear about you, Marge. Jay tells me you're quite the woman. Which, of course, I've never said, because I don't have an Aunt Marge. Marge beams, launching into a detailed explanation of her latest project. I watch, stunned, as Declan listens intently, asking questions and cracking jokes. He's charming, attentive, and genuinely interested. You've got yourself a keeper here, my pretend cousin whispers, purposely loud as she nudges me. He's hot, and he listens to Aunt Marge's quilting stories? Damn, girl. I force a smile, but my stomach churns. This isn't how it's supposed to go. Declan's supposed to be cold, calculating, maybe even cruel, not this. As the night wears on, I find myself struggling to reconcile the man I'm seeing with the criminal I'm supposed to be investigating. He helps my grandpa with his hearing aid, entertains the kids with magic tricks, and even offers to help clean up after dinner. You okay, Jay? Declan's voice startles me out of my thoughts. He's looking at me with concern, a dish towel slung over his shoulder. You seem a million miles away. I swallow hard. Yeah, I'm fine. Just surprised, I guess. You're really good with family. He grins, but there's a hint of something else in his eyes. Sadness, longing. Yeah, I told you parents love me. I laugh, but it feels hollow. As I watch him joke with my dad while drying dishes, I can't shake the nagging feeling that I'm missing something. The missing girls, the suspicious financial records. How does it all fit with this man who's charmed my fake family so effortlessly? The night air feels electric as Declan and I say our goodbyes to my darling family. His hand rests on the small of my back, guiding me to his car. The warmth of his touch seeps through my dress, sending shivers up my spine. That wasn't so bad, was it? I tease as we slide into his sleek sports car. Declan chuckles, his fingers drumming on the steering wheel. Your family's not half bad, but don't tell anyone I said that. The drive back to the cafe is filled with easy banter and stolen glances. I catch myself laughing at his jokes, genuinely enjoying his company. Damn it, Jasmine. Focus. As we pull up to the cafe, Declan turns to me. Let me drive you home. It's late. My heart races. Oh, no need. My car's here, remember? He raises an eyebrow. You sure? It's no trouble. I force a smile. I'm good, really. Thanks, though. Declan shrugs, then gets out to open my door. As I step out, his hand catches mine, steadying me. We're suddenly close. Too close. I had a great time tonight, Jay, he murmurs, his eyes locked on mine. I swallow hard. Me too. He leans in, and I know I should pull away. This isn't part of the plan, but as his lips meet mine, all thoughts of the investigation melt away. The kiss is electric, passionate, and far too real. His hands cup my face, and I find myself pressing closer, my fingers tangling in his hair. When we finally break apart, we're both breathless. Declan's eyes are dark, intense. Damn it, he whispers. I step back, my heart pounding. I should go. He nods, looking as conflicted as I feel. Yeah, okay. Text me when you get home safe. Sure, I manage, knowing I won't. As I watch him drive away, I lean against the bistro wall, trying to steady my breathing. For the first time since this assignment began, I find myself hoping that maybe, just maybe, we've got it all wrong about Declan Reed.
Chapter 8. Declan. My phone buzzes, interrupting my concentration. I glance at the screen, a smirk playing on my lips as I read Jay's text. Stuck at the front desk? Not for long. I push back from my desk, the leather chair creaking as I stand. My steps echo through the office as I make my way to the door, adjusting my tie. I've been thinking about that kiss all night, replaying it in my mind like a broken record. Sarah, I call out as I step into the reception area. What's this about not letting Jay up without an appointment? Sarah looks up, her eyes widening slightly. I'm sorry, Mr. Reed. I didn't realize she was expected. She's always welcome, I say, my tone leaving no room for argument. In the future, let her through. I turn to Jay, drinking in the sight of her. She's wearing a fitted blazer that hugs her curves in all the right places. Sorry about that, I say, gesturing for her to follow me. Come on in. As soon as we're alone in my office, I close the door behind us. The air feels charged, electric. I can't help but let my eyes roam over her, remembering the feel of her lips on mine. So, I say, leaning against my desk. Couldn't wait to see me, huh? Jay raises an eyebrow, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. You're the one who texted me last night, remember? I chuckle, not denying it. What can I say? I'm an impatient man. I take a step closer, my voice dropping lower. Especially when it comes to things I want. Oh, Jay says, her eyes meeting mine. And what is it you want, Mr. Reed? I take a step forward to close the distance between us, my hand reaching out to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. I think you know exactly what I want, Jay. She muses, pretending to think as her eyes flick to my lips. Your shirt back? I chuckle, my eyes locked on hers. My shirt? Nah, I think it looks better on you. I take another step closer, drawn to her like a magnet, though I wouldn't mind seeing it on my bedroom floor. Jay's lips curl into a smirk. Cute, but you'll have to try harder than that. She sidesteps me, her perfume lingering in the air as she moves past. I turn, watching her saunter around my office, her hips swaying with each step. Damn, she's good. Nice view, she says, pausing at the floor-to-ceiling windows. It certainly is, I reply, not talking about the cityscape. Jay throws a knowing look over her shoulder. I meant outside, Declan. So did I. I grin, not bothering to hide my appreciation. She rolls her eyes, but I catch the hint of a smile. Jay continues her tour, fingers trailing over the spines of books on my shelves. I can't take my eyes off her, watching as she takes in every detail of my space. Impressive collection, she muses, plucking a first edition from the shelf. I've got better things to show you than my library, I say, moving closer. Jay raises an eyebrow. Oh, like what? Before I can answer, she sets the book down and saunters over to my desk. In one smooth motion, she perches herself on the corner, her skirt riding up to reveal a tantalizing glimpse of thigh. How about you tell me about this? She taps a finger on a framed photo. I swallow hard, trying to focus on anything but the expanse of skin she's showing. That's, from when the company went public. She hums, leaning back slightly. The movement causes her skirt to inch higher. Must have been a big day for your father. Yeah, I manage, my eyes traveling up her legs. Huge. Jay's laugh snaps me back to reality. Eyes up here, Mr. Reed. I meet her gaze, not even slightly embarrassed at being caught. Can you blame me? You're sitting on my desk looking like... that. Looking like what? She asks innocently, crossing her legs. The action makes her skirt ride up even more. I groan internally, taking a step closer. Like you're trying to drive me crazy. Jay leans forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. Is it working? I place my hands on the desk, one on either side of her, caging her in. What do you think? Our faces are inches apart now. I can feel the warmth of her breath, see the flecks of gold in her eyes. All I'd have to do is lean in. Just as I'm about to close the distance between us, Sarah's voice crackles through the intercom, shattering the moment. Mr. Reed, your presence is required in the boardroom immediately. Hell, I mutter, pulling back from Jay. The loss of her warmth is almost physical. I'm sorry. I have to take this. Jay slides off the desk, smoothing down her skirt. Don't keep me waiting too long, she says, her voice low and teasing. I have an impressive appetite. I growl, frustrated. Trust me, I won't. I head for the door, pausing to look back at her. Make yourself comfortable. I'll be back before you know it. The walk to the boardroom feels longer than usual, my mind still back in my office with Jay. I push open the heavy oak doors, greeted by the stern faces of the board members. Gentlemen, I nod, taking my seat at the head of the table. What's so urgent? Mr. Hawkins, a longtime associate of my father's, clears his throat. Declan, we've noticed you've been asking questions. I lean back in my chair, keeping my face as neutral as a poker player with a royal flush. Is that a problem? Last I checked, I'm the CEO of this company. I didn't realize asking questions about my own business was cause for concern. Of course not, Mr. Chen interjects smoothly, his voice like oil on troubled waters. We just want to ensure you're not distracted from your duties. Running a company of this size requires focus, after all. Distracted, I repeat, my eyes narrowing to slits. The word tastes bitter on my tongue. You mean by the missing funds and untraceable transactions I've uncovered? Because let me tell you, gentlemen, that's pretty distracting. The room falls silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I can see them exchanging glances, a silent conversation happening right in front of me. It's like watching a bunch of kids caught with their hands in the cookie jar, trying to decide who'll take the fall. Finally, Mr. Hawkins speaks up, his voice gruff. Declan, whatever your father had going on, it's best you stay out of it. Some stones are better left unturned. I lean forward, my hands flat on the table, fingers splayed. The wood feels cool against my palms, a stark contrast to the heat rising in my chest. Stay out of it. It's my company now. I have a right to know where every penny goes. Hell, I have a responsibility to know. Son, Mr. Chen says, his tone so patronizing it makes my teeth grind. Some things are better left alone, for everyone's safety. You understand, don't you? The threat is thinly veiled, about as subtle as a sledgehammer, and it makes my blood boil. But I force myself to remain calm, swallowing the anger that threatens to explode. These bastards think they can intimidate me in my own boardroom, my own company. They've got another thing coming.
Chapter 9. Jasmine. The moment Declan's broad shoulders disappear through the door, I let out a shaky breath. My heart's racing like I've just run a marathon, and I have to remind myself that this is all an act. But damn, the way those slacks hugged his ass and that button-up stretched across his chest. It's like he stepped right out of a GQ photo shoot, all chiseled jaw and smoldering eyes. Earth to Jasmine, you're here for a reason. I shake my head, trying to clear the fog of attraction that's settled over my brain. This isn't some rom-com meet-cute. It's an undercover operation, but my body doesn't seem to have gotten the memo. But why does he have to be so damn sexy? I groan, pouting at the empty room. My fingers itch to run through that perfectly tousled hair of his. Couldn't he at least have the decency to be a little less everything? I give myself a mental slap and scan the office, trying to refocus on the task at hand. Declan's desk is a treasure trove of information, and I'm not about to waste this golden opportunity just because I'm distracted by his good looks. My fingers itch to rifle through the papers scattered across its surface, my journalistic instincts kicking into high gear. All right, let's see what you're hiding, Mr. Reed, I mutter, sliding into his buttery soft leather chair. The scent of his cologne lingers, and I have to force myself not to inhale deeply. Focus, Jasmine. The first thing that catches my eye is the drawer where he tossed the binder. I hesitate for a split second before yanking it open. Inside are financial reports, neatly stacked and labeled. As I leaf through them, my eyebrows shoot up so high, they nearly disappear into my hairline. These aren't just any transactions. They're off-the-books deals, millions of dollars vanishing into thin air like some sort of twisted magic trick. Holy crap, I whisper, fumbling for my phone with suddenly clumsy fingers. I snap rapid-fire photos of every incriminating page, my pulse quickening with each click. The thrill of uncovering a potential scandal wars with a strange sense of disappointment. Part of me had hoped Declan wasn't involved in anything shady, but these documents are painting a very different picture. Once I've documented everything, I pull up my boss's number and hit video call with shaky fingers. The adrenaline's pumping through my veins like I've just downed a triple espresso. He answers on the second ring, his gruff voice filling the room and nearly making me jump out of my skin. "What have you got for me, Thomas?" Jameson barks, his face filling my screen. "You're not going to believe this, Jameson, but I'm in his office," I say, trying to keep my voice steady as I angle my phone to show him the documents. My heart's racing faster than a cheetah on Red Bull. "Look at these numbers. It's like watching a magic trick, except instead of rabbits, it's cash disappearing into thin air. And let me tell you, it's a hell of a lot of rabbits." He lets out a low whistle that sounds like a freight train in the quiet office. "Can you get a closer look at those transaction dates?" I zoom in, my eyes widening as I notice a pattern that's about as subtle as a neon sign in Times Square. Holy crap, these all coincide with major tech releases from Reed Enterprises. It's like they're using product launches as a smokescreen. "This could be the break we've been waiting for," Jameson says, his voice tinged with excitement. "Any idea where the money's going? Or is it pulling another Houdini act?" I flip through more pages, my forehead creasing. "Not yet, but The sound of footsteps in the hallway makes me freeze. Crap, someone's coming. I gotta go. I end the call and scramble to put everything back exactly as I found it, my heart pounding in my ears. Just as I slide the last paper into place, the door handle turns. The door swings open, and Declan strides in like he owns the place, which he does. My heart skips a beat as I take in the sight of him. His hair slightly disheveled, like he's been running his fingers through it, and a few extra buttons on his shirt are undone, revealing a tantalizing glimpse of his chest. The stress is radiating off him in waves, but damn if it doesn't make him even sexier. "Who were you talking to?" he asks, his eyes flicking around the room. I stand up, my mind racing. "Just my mom," I lie, the words tumbling out before I can stop them. "You know how it is, always checking in." Before he can question me further, I close the distance between us in 2 quick strides. My hands find their way to his chest, and I push him back against the door, slamming it shut. The solid thud echoes through the room, matching the pounding of my heart. I press my lips to his, hard and demanding. The kiss is electric, sending sparks shooting through my entire body. I'm not sure if it's the adrenaline from almost being caught or just the intoxicating effect Declan has on me. But suddenly, I want him more than I've ever wanted anyone. Declan responds immediately, his strong hands gripping my waist and pulling me closer. Christ, he growls against my lips. "Less talking," I say against his lips, grabbing his hand and sliding it around to my ass. "More touching." He responds immediately, palming me over my skin-tight skirt before gripping tightly. "You start this, and I'm not going to be able to stop," he confesses. I can feel his heart racing, pounding as erratically in his chest as mine. But it's not enough. He needs to be thinking about something else entirely, something that will make him forget all about me talking to anyone. "Good," I say. "Take me, Mr. Reed."
Chapter 10. Declan. Take me, Mr. Reed. God, those words coming out of those sexy lips would be enough to make any man snap. My heart pounds like a jackhammer as I look at her, the click of the lock echoing in the room. Jay's eyes, full of fire and mischief, lock onto mine, and I can't help myself. I cross the room in 2 strides, my hands already reaching for her, yanking her towards me with an urgency that feels like it might consume me whole. "Say that again," I growl, my voice rough with need. It's a demand, not a request. I need to hear those words on her lips one more time. She bites her bottom lip, her fingers deftly working the buttons of my shirt, her breath hitching as I kiss her roughly, desperately. "Do me, Declan," she whispers against my lips. And it's all the invitation I need. My hands are on her blazer, pulling it off her shoulders, tossing it aside with a desperation that's been building since the moment I laid eyes on her. I can't get enough of her. The way she moves, the way she challenges me, the way she seems to see right through my carefully constructed facade. She's quicker this time, her hands finding their way under my shirt, her fingers dancing across my skin, sending jolts of electricity straight to my core. I shrug off the shirt, letting it fall to the floor, and then her hands are on my chest, her touch light but confident. She glances up before leaning forward to drag her tongue from my abdomen up to my chest, her teeth grazing my skin, making me shudder with want. I grab her jaw, tilting her head back, my thumb tracing her lower lip. "You think you can handle me? Is that it?" I ask, my eyes locked onto hers. I see the defiance in her gaze, the determination, and it just makes me want her more. "I can handle whatever you throw at me," she retorts, and I realize that she's using my own words against me. I kiss her again, harder this time, my hand moving from her jaw to her throat, gripping it lightly, feeling the flutter of her pulse against my fingers. Our breaths are ragged, the air around us charged with electricity and raw, unbridled desire. Oh, this is getting good, friends. Unfortunately, we'll have to reroute you to TylaWalker.com for all the sordid details of their love story, because it's way too hot for YouTube. Find the exciting conclusion for this chapter and some bonus extras by using code SAVE40 at checkout. On with the show. You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy,
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
and you might got the money,
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
but that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaire's audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you,
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance. Chapter 11. Jasmine. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white as I tried to process what just happened. The scent of Declan's cologne still lingers on my skin. My breath catches in my throat as I remember his touch, his kisses, the way he made me feel. Crap, I mutter, banging my head against the headrest. What the hell am I doing? I've royally screwed up. Not only did I take my target, but I actually enjoyed it. A lot. The worst part? I want to do it again. Shaking my head, I start the car. I need to focus on the job at hand. The documents I found in Declan's office could be the key to cracking this case wide open. I can't let my feelings or my libido get in the way. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting across from Jameson in a dimly lit corner of our usual meeting spot. The restaurant shop buzzes with the quiet chatter of patrons, providing the perfect cover for our conversation. So what did you find? Jameson leans forward, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. I take a sip of my latte, buying time to compose my thoughts. It's complicated. The documents I found, they're not what we expected. Jameson's brow furrows. How so? Well, I begin, choosing my words carefully. It almost looks like Declan was investigating the missing money himself. There were notes, calculations, highlighted transactions, all pointing to discrepancies in the company's finances. Are you sure? Jameson's skepticism is evident in his tone. I nod, pulling out my phone to show him the photos I took. Look at these. He circled specific amounts, made notes about untraceable transactions. It's like he's trying to piece together a puzzle. Jameson studies the images, his expression thoughtful. After a moment, he looks up at me. This changes things. If Declan's not behind the illegal activities, then who is? I finish his thought. He leans back in his chair, stroking his chin. We need to tread carefully here, Jasmine. This could be bigger than we initially thought. I nod, my mind racing with possibilities. So what's our next move? Jameson's eyes lock with mine, his expression serious. It's time to see what Declan will confess to now that you have undeniable proof. We need to know where he stands in all of this. My stomach churns at the thought of confronting Declan. After what happened in his office, the lines between my professional and personal life have blurred dangerously. But I know Jameson's right. We need answers. And Declan's the key to getting them. All right, I agree, steeling myself for what's to come. I'll set up another meeting with him, see what I can get him to reveal. The next day, I drum my fingers on the steering wheel, my mind racing faster than the car. The decision to confront Declan sits heavy in my gut, but I know it's now or never. As I pull onto the street, I fish out my phone and type out a message. Hey, need to see you. It's important. I hit send and wait, counting the seconds. 1 minute passes, then 5, then 10, nothing. Weird, I mutter, chewing my bottom lip. Declan's usually glued to his phone, especially when it comes to me. I mean, he was messaging me all night. I try again. Declan, you there? I cringe at how desperate it sounds, but hit send anyway. The 30-minute commute crawls by. Still no response. I grip my phone tightly, staring at the unanswered messages I've sent Declan. The city lights blur past my car window as I navigate through evening traffic, my mind racing faster than the vehicles around me. Come on, Declan, I mutter, refreshing my messages for the 100th time. Where the hell are you? My stomach twists into knots as I pull into my driveway. Declan's always been prompt with his responses, usually firing back a witty text within minutes. This silence? It's deafening. I slam my car door, fumbling with my keys as I approach my front door. My phone chimes, and I nearly drop everything in my haste to check it. Just a spam email? Damn it. Is he pissed at me or something? Wait, is he the kind of guy that likes to lay and leave? No, this is something else. Inside, I pace my living room, phone in hand. I type out another message. Declan, seriously, what's going on? Call me. I hit send before I can second-guess myself. The desperation in my tone makes me cringe, but I can't shake the feeling that something's terribly wrong. Get a grip, Jasmine, I scold myself, running a hand through my hair. He's probably just busy, or maybe he's finally figured out you're playing him. But even as I say it, I know it's not true. Declan's too sharp to have missed any slip-ups on my part, and if he had caught on, he'd confront me head-on. Ghosting isn't the style of a criminal. I flop onto my couch, staring at the ceiling. My mind drifts back to our encounter in his office, the heat of his touch, the intensity in his eyes. I shake my head, trying to dispel the memory. He's a criminal, I remind myself sternly. A liar, a cheat. But the words ring hollow. The Declan I've come to know doesn't fit that description. He's complex, conflicted, and undeniably caring. The documents I found in his office paint a different picture than what I'd initially believed. My phone remains stubbornly silent. No calls, no texts, no explanation for his sudden disappearance. Worry gnaws at my insides, battling with the guilt of caring for someone I'm supposed to be investigating. I've crossed a line, and there's no going back now. Damn it, Declan, I whisper, closing my eyes. Where are you?
Chapter 12. Declan. I stride into my office, the memory of Jay's lips still lingering on mine. The taste of her, mixed with the thrill of slamming her against the office door, has me distracted. But as soon as I cross the threshold, reality slams into me like a freight train. 3 men stand around my desk, their postures radiating tension. I recognize them immediately. Victor, Sal, and Marco. We've done business before, the kind that doesn't show up in any official ledgers. Gentlemen, I say, injecting confidence into my voice. To what do I owe the pleasure? Victor, the tallest of the 3, steps forward. His eyes, cold as steel, lock onto mine. Cut the crap, Declan. We know you've been asking questions. I keep my face neutral, but my mind races. How much do they know? I run a business. Asking questions is part of the job. Sal, a stocky man with a permanent scowl, snorts. Not these kind of questions. You've been poking your nose where it doesn't belong. My father's dead, I say, moving behind my desk. It's a power play, putting the furniture between us. I think I have a right to know what's going on in my own company. Marco, the quietest of the three, speaks up. Your father knew how to play the game, Declan. He understood the importance of discretion. The implication hangs in the air. My father knew more than he let on, and these men expect me to follow in his footsteps. Blind obedience was never my strong suit. Look, I say, leaning forward on my desk. I'm not trying to rock the boat, but when millions are disappearing into thin air, I think I deserve some answers. Victor's eyes narrow, his face twisting into a cruel smirk. Answers? You want answers? He laughs, but it's a cold, humorless sound that sends chills down my spine. How about this? Stop asking questions if you want to keep that pretty girlfriend of yours safe. Wouldn't want anything to happen to her, now would we? My blood runs cold, turning to ice in my veins. Jay, that beautiful black goddess who's had me so goddamn distracted these past few days. They know about her. The threat is crystal clear, and it takes every ounce of self-control not to leap across the desk and throttle Victor with my bare hands. These bastards think they can waltz in here and dictate terms? Hell no. I've been playing nice, biting my tongue and following their rules, but now the gloves are coming off. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You leave her the hell out of this, I growl, my voice low and dangerous, laced with barely contained rage. She's got nothing to do with our business, and if you so much as look at her funny, I'll make you regret the day you were born. Victor's lips curl into a sneer, his eyes glinting with malice. Everything's connected, Declan. You should know that by now. There are no loose ends in our world. I slam my hand on the desk, the sharp crack echoing through the room. They all flinch, and I feel a surge of satisfaction. No, you don't get to play that card, you piece of crap. My father might have danced to your tune, but I'm not him. I'm not some puppet you can manipulate. Sal steps forward, his meaty hands balled into fists. The veins in his thick neck bulge as he glares at me. Watch your tone, boy. We're not asking. We're telling you how it's gonna be. Neither am I, asshole. I snap back, rising to my full height and meeting his gaze head on. I want answers. Now, where's the money going? What the hell have you been using my company for? And don't even think about feeding me some bullcrap line. I want the truth, or so help me God. I'll burn this whole operation to the ground. Victor's eyes narrow. You're making a mistake, Declan. Your father built this empire, and I'm the one running it now. I cut him off. So either you start talking or I start digging. And trust me, you don't want me digging. The tension in the room is palpable. I can see the gears turning in their heads, trying to figure out how to handle this unexpected resistance. Sal takes a menacing step forward. You ungrateful little crap. I watch as Sal's face contorts with rage, his meaty fists clenching and unclenching at his sides. The air in the room feels electric, charged with tension and unspoken threats. You think you're untouchable, don't you? Victor sneers, taking a step closer. Daddy's golden boy, playing at being a big shot businessman. I stand my ground even as my heart races. I'm not playing at anything. Marco, ever the voice of reason, tries to interject. Let's all calm down. We can discuss this like... Shut it, Marco, Sal growls, his eyes never leaving mine. This little crap needs to learn his place. I feel a chill of warning trickle down my spine. These aren't the kind of men you want to piss off, but I can't back down now. My place? Last I checked, my name's on the building. Victor's laugh is cold and humorless. Buildings can be renamed. CEOs can be replaced. You're not as irreplaceable as you think, Declan. The threat hangs in the air, heavy and unmistakable. I swallow hard, my mouth suddenly dry. Is that how it is? You gonna make me disappear like the money? Sal takes another step forward, closing the distance between us. I can smell his cologne, sharp and cloying. Keep talking, smartass. See where it gets you. Victor says, his voice low and dangerous. Your father understood how things work around here. My eyes dart between the three men, searching for any sign of weakness, any opening. But they're a united front, closing in on me like wolves circling their prey. What have I gotten myself into? And more importantly, how the hell am I going to get out of it?
Chapter 13. Jasmine. The setting sun casts long shadows across the parking lot as I pull up to Declan's office building. My stomach churns with a mixture of anticipation and dread. I've been trying to reach him all day, but his silence is deafening. Something's off, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm walking into trouble. I kill the engine and sit for a moment, watching the last stragglers leave for the day. The building looms before me, its sleek glass facade reflecting the orange glow of twilight. Only one light remains on, Declan's office. All right, Jasmine, I mutter to myself. Time to face the music. I step out of my car, the click of my heels echoing in the near-empty lot. The air is thick with tension, or maybe that's just my imagination running wild. As I approach the main entrance, I can't help but notice how eerily quiet everything is. No security guard at the desk. No cleaning staff bustling about. It's as if the entire building has been abandoned. The elevator ride to Declan's floor feels like an eternity. With each passing floor, my heart rate increases. When the doors finally open, I'm met with darkness, save for the sliver of light spilling from under Declan's office door. I take a deep breath and stride towards it, my footsteps muffled by the plush carpet. As I reach for the handle, I hear voices, muffled but unmistakably tense. I press my ear against the cool wood, straining to make out the words. I fling the door open, ready to confront Declan, my heart pounding in my ears. Declan, we need to... The words die in my throat. Declan's tied to his chair, his usually immaculate suit rumpled and stained. 3 men surround him, knives glinting in the dim office light. My stomach drops. A gasp escapes me before I can stop it. 4 pairs of eyes snap to me. Crap, I mutter, pivoting on my heel. Get her, a gruff voice barks, sending chills down my spine. I bolt down the hallway, my heels a staccato beat against the carpet. Heavy footsteps thunder behind me, the sound growing louder with each passing second. The elevator's too slow, way too damn slow. I veer towards the stairwell, shoving the door open with my shoulder so hard it slams against the wall. Jay, run! Declan's voice echoes from his office, laced with desperation and fear. I take the stairs 2 at a time, my breath coming in short gasps, lungs burning. A hand grabs my ankle, and I stumble, catching myself on the railing with a painful jerk to my arm. Let go, asshole! I kick back with all my might, my heel connecting with something soft. A grunt of pain, and the grip loosens. Got him right in the sweet spot. I sprint down another flight, legs pumping furiously, but the exit door's too far. It might as well be in another zip code. A body slams into me from behind, pinning me against the wall with crushing force. I throw my elbow back, feeling it connect with a jaw. The satisfying crunch almost makes up for the pain shooting through my arm. Feisty bitch, a voice snarls in my ear, hot breath making my skin crawl. I struggle like a wild animal, twisting and clawing, but he's too strong. Another set of hands grabs my arms, wrenching them behind my back. The pain is immediate and intense. No, I shout, thrashing wildly, refusing to go down without a fight. Let me go, you sons of bitches. They drag me back up the stairs, my efforts to break free futile. As we re-enter Declan's office, I see him straining against his bonds, his face a mask of fury and concern. Jay, he says, his voice tight. Shut up, one of the men growls, shoving me into a chair next to Declan. Rough hands grip my arms and legs, forcing me to stay still. The rope bites into my skin as they tie me down, each knot a reminder of how royally I've screwed up. "Easy with her," Declan growls, his jaw clenched tight. One of the goons backhands him across the face. "Shut your trap, Reed." I wince at the sound, but keep my gaze fixed straight ahead. The metallic taste of fear coats my tongue, but I'll be damned if I let these thugs see it. "Jay, look at me," Declan pleads, his voice low and urgent. I can't. The evidence I found in his office flashes through my mind. All those shady transactions, the missing money. God, I'm such an idiot. I actually started to believe there might be more to him than just another corrupt businessman. "I'm so sorry you're being dragged into this," he says, and I can hear the guilt dripping from every word. "Sorry? Yeah, I bet he is. Sorry he got caught. Sorry his criminal empire is crumbling around him." I clench my jaw, anger bubbling up to replace the fear. "Didn't I tell you to shut it?" The same goon who hit Declan earlier steps towards him menacingly. "Hey," I snap, finally breaking my silence. "Why don't you pick on someone your own size, you overgrown pit bull?" The man's eyes narrow as he turns to me. "Got a mouth on you, don't you, sweetheart?" "Among other things," I retort, meeting his glare head on. "Want me to show you what else I can do with it?" He raises his hand, and I brace for the impact, but Declan's voice cuts through the tension like a knife. "Touch her, and I swear to God, I'll end you." The raw fury in his tone makes even the goon hesitate. For a split second, I almost believe Declan cares, but then reality crashes back in. He's a criminal. I'm a journalist who got too close to the truth, and now we're both screwed. I never should have doubted the evidence. Never should have let myself get swept up in his charm and those soulful eyes. Rookie mistake, Thomas. Now you're tied to a chair in an office building after hours, with no one knowing where you are.
Chapter 14. Declan. I strain against the ropes binding me to the chair, my eyes fixed on Jay. Fury courses through my veins, but beneath it, fear for her safety gnaws at my gut. "Let her go, you bastards!" I snarl, my voice low and dangerous. "She's got nothing to do with this. I'll do whatever you want. Just let her walk out of here." Marco lets out a guttural laugh. "Oh, Declan, always trying to play the hero. But I'm afraid your little girlfriend here is very much involved now." He reaches out to touch Jay's face, but she jerks her head away, her eyes blazing with defiance. "Don't you dare touch me, you piece of crap!" she spits, her words dripping with venom. I blink, taken aback by her ferocity. There's no trace of fear in her voice, just pure, unadulterated rage. It's impressive, to say the least. Marco's hand drops to her shoulder, and Jay's reaction is instantaneous. She twists in her chair, managing to bring her bound hands up just enough to slap his arm away. "I said piss off!" she shouts, her voice echoing in the confines of my office. He stumbles back, more out of surprise than pain. Sal and Victor snicker, clearly amused by his failure to intimidate Jay. "You've got quite a firecracker here, Declan," Marco says, rubbing his arm where Jay struck him. "Leave her alone," I growl, trying to draw their attention back to me. "If you've got business with me, then let's handle it. Man to man." The leader turns to me, a cruel smile playing on his lips. "Oh, we will. But first, I think we need to have a little chat with your feisty friend here. She might know more than she's letting on." I turn to Jay, my jaw clenched so tight I can feel a muscle twitching. "Are you okay? Did those bastards hurt you?" My voice comes out low and rough, barely containing the rage building inside me. I take a moment to really look at Jay, tied up next to me. Her hair's a mess, strands falling across her face in a way that would be sexy as hell if we weren't in this messed up situation. That fitted blouse I love is ripped at the shoulder, exposing smooth skin marred by an angry red mark. Damn, they roughed her up more than I thought. My blood boils, a primal urge to protect her surging through me. No one touches her. No one. I'm gonna make these assholes pay for every bruise, every scratch. But damn, even now she's still gorgeous. The way she's squirming in that chair, all fire and defiance. It's doing things to me, stirring up feelings I shouldn't be having right now. Her eyes are blazing with determination, and I can't help but admire her strength. She doesn't respond to my question, her gaze fixed straight ahead. The silence stretches between us, thick and heavy. I want to reach out, to comfort her somehow, but these damn ropes are cutting into my wrists. All I can do is sit here, helpless, as the tension in the room ratchets up another notch. "Jay, come on, talk to me," I plead, desperation creeping into my voice. Sal's fist connects with my jaw, sending a burst of pain through my skull. The metallic taste of blood fills my mouth. "Shut your trap," he snarls. I spit a mouthful of blood onto the polished floor. "Screw you," I growl, glaring daggers at him. The three men exchange glances before Marco jerks his head toward the door. "Let's talk outside," he mutters. As they file out, I strain against my bonds, trying to catch Jay's eye. "Jay, please. I know this is crazy, but I swear I'll explain everything." She remains silent, her jaw set in a hard line. The tension radiates off her in waves. "Look, I get it. You're pissed. You have every right to be. But we need to work together if we're going to get out of this mess." Nothing. Not even a flicker of acknowledgement. "God damn it, Jay!" I snap, frustration getting the better of me. "I'm trying to protect you here. The least you could do is look at me." Her eyes finally meet mine, blazing with an intensity that takes my breath away. But still, she says nothing. I slump in my chair, defeat washing over me. "I'm sorry," I murmur. "I never meant for you to get caught up in this crap. I should have stayed away from you." The silence stretches on, broken only by the muffled voices of our captors in the hallway. I rack my brain, trying to think of a way out of this mess, but coming up empty. Letting out a sigh, I shake my head. Fine. Guess it's time to wrap this up. The fools didn't realize who they were dealing with. Time to show them. In one fluid motion, I twist my hands, dislocating my thumbs with a sickening pop. The ropes loosen just enough for me to slide my hands free. I grit my teeth against the pain, quickly popping my thumbs back into place. Jay stares after me with wide eyes, as shocked as the moment she walked in on this ridiculous scene. I can tell she's preparing to say something. "Don't," I growl, working on the ropes around my ankles. They're amateur knots, child's play really. Within seconds, I'm free. I stand, stretching my cramped muscles. "Stay put," I order Jay, my voice low and dangerous. She glares at me, fury radiating off her in waves. "Very funny, asshole. Untie me right now, you lying piece of—" "Later," I snap, already moving towards the door. "I've got to deal with those pricks first." "Declan," she hisses, but I ignore her, pressing my ear to the door. The muffled voices of Marco, Sal, and Victor drift through. Perfect. They're still distracted. I turn back to Jay, who's struggling against her bonds. She opens her mouth, no doubt to unleash another string of curses, but I'm already slipping out the door, closing it softly behind me. Time to show these idiots what happens when you mess with Declan Reed.
Chapter 15. Jasmine. The sound of fists connecting with flesh and grunts of pain filter through the door. I twist my wrists against the bindings, cursing under my breath. "Damn it, Declan. Couldn't have untied me? No, 'cause you're a big, bad criminal." My fingers work frantically at the knots, but they're too tight. I scan the room, looking for anything that might help. The chair creaks as I shift my weight. Wait a minute. I throw myself sideways, hard. The chair topples, and the arm snaps off with a satisfying crack. Success. I wriggle free of the loosened ropes, rubbing my wrists. The door opens and Declan strolls in, looking annoyingly composed despite the bruises forming on his face. Without hesitation, I march up to him and punch him square in the jaw. He staggers back, more surprised than hurt. Okay, I deserve that. See? That's for leaving me tied up, you jackass, I spit out. Where are those guys? Declan's lips curl into a mocking smile, humorless and empty. Shouldn't have touched you. I narrow my eyes. If you could get out of your bindings the whole time, why didn't you? He shrugs, his grin turning wolfish. I wanted answers, and I got them. You wanted? I clench my fists, torn between admiration and frustration. You're unbelievable. I'll take that as a compliment, Declan says, stepping closer. Are you okay? Screw you, I snap, my heart racing. I can't believe what just happened. And Declan, he and I. You goddamn asshole, I seethe, my fists clenched at my sides. I can't believe I was actually worried about you when you didn't answer my messages. What kind of sick game are you playing? Declan's eyes narrow, his jaw tightening. You're nothing but a lying, manipulative criminal. I spit furiously, taking a step closer. And to think I cut myself off, my breath catching in my throat. Declan's bruised face is inches from mine, his eyes blazing with a mix of anger and something else. Something that makes my pulse race. You actually what? He growls, his voice low and dangerous. I swallow hard, trying to ignore the way my body responds to his proximity. Nothing. Forget it. No, Declan says, closing the gap between us. I want to hear you say it. His scent envelops me, a mix of cologne and something uniquely him. I hate how much I want him right now, how my anger is rapidly morphing into desire. Screw you, I breathe, my eyes locked on his lips. Is that an offer? Declan's mouth quirks up in a smirk, and it's infuriating how sexy he looks with that split lip. Because you keep saying it. I grab his shirt, fully intending to shove him away. Instead, I find myself pulling him closer. Our lips crash together in a furious, passionate kiss. It's all teeth and tongue, anger and lust colliding in a storm of emotions. I hate you, I pant between kisses, my fingers tangling in his hair. No, you don't, Declan growls, his lips trailing down my neck. I arch into him, my body betraying my words. Yes, I do. You're infuriating and arrogant and... He silences me with another searing kiss, his hands roaming my body with an urgency that matches my own. I know this is wrong, that I should be running far away from him and this whole situation. But right now, all I can think about is how much I want him. His hands grip my ass, the strength in his fingers sending a jolt of desire through me. I gasp, my body tensing instinctively. Declan, your ribs. I don't want. Don't insult me, baby. He cuts me off, his voice a low growl that resonates in my core. That cocky attitude of his should be a turnoff, but instead, it fans the flames of my arousal. I can't help but be drawn to his unwavering confidence, his alpha demeanor that's both infuriating and irresistible. He lifts me effortlessly, setting me down on the cool surface of his desk. Papers scatter, the remnants of our chaotic reality crumpling under the weight of our passion. His lips crash onto mine with a fervor that leaves me breathless, our tongues dancing in a rhythm of raw need. My fingers fumble with the buttons of his shirt, desperation making me clumsy. I yank it open, the remaining buttons popping off and pinging against the floor. His chest is a canvas of hard muscle and faded scars, each one a testament to the battles he's fought. Sorry, but the rest of this chapter is too hot for YouTube. Find all the delicious content you can handle and some bonus content to boot at tylawalker.com. Use code Save 40 at checkout for a great deal on an even greater story. Now, back to it.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyla Walker Romances in the Big AF audio bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla.
Chapter 16. Declan. I stare at the closed guest room door, my hand hovering inches from the polished wood. A week. It's been a freaking week since Jay locked herself in there, and I'm going crazy. The urge to knock, to demand answers, burns through me like wildfire. But I can't. Not yet. Sighing, I drop my hand and turn away. The hallway stretches before me, a reminder of all the space between us. I trudge back to my home office, my footsteps echoing in the emptiness. Hell, I mutter, collapsing into my chair. The mess of papers on my desk mocks me, each document a piece of the puzzle my father left behind. I grab the nearest file, flipping it open with more force than necessary. The numbers swim before my eyes, a jumble of transactions and accounts that make less sense every time I look at them. Where the hell did all this money come from? And more importantly, where the hell is it going? My phone buzzes, jolting me from my thoughts. It's a text from my assistant. Mr. Reed, the board is requesting an emergency meeting. They're concerned about recent inquiries? I snort. Of course they are. They're probably crapping themselves, wondering how much I figured out. Well, let them sweat. I'm not backing down. Tell them I'm unavailable, I text back. I lean back in my chair, rubbing my eyes as the numbers on the page blur together. I need coffee. But the thought of leaving my home office, of possibly running into Jay in the hallway. No. Focus, Reed. I grab another file, flipping it open with a frustrated sigh. All right, Dad. What the hell were you up to? My eyes scan the document, a shipping manifest from 3 years ago. Semiconductors to... Wait a second. I sit up straighter, reaching for my laptop. A quick search confirms my suspicion. That company doesn't even exist. What the hell? I scribble a note on a nearby pad, my mind racing. This isn't the first discrepancy I've found, but it's the most blatant. Were you even trying to hide this crap, old man? The sound of footsteps in the hallway makes me tense. I hold my breath, listening. They pass by without stopping. I exhale slowly, trying to ignore the pang of disappointment. Focus, damn it, I mutter, turning back to the files. Jay's not your problem right now. But even as I say it, I know it's a lie. She's been my problem since the moment she walked into my life. And now... I shake my head, forcing my attention back to the documents. Another shipping manifest. This time for medical supplies. Yeah, right. I cross-reference it with our legitimate shipments from that month. Well, well. Looks like someone's been cooking the books. My phone buzzes again. I ignore it. Whatever the board wants can wait. This is more important. I dive back into the files, losing track of time as I uncover more and more discrepancies. Shell companies, fake shipments, money vanishing into thin air. It's an absolute mess, and I'm right in the middle of it. Jesus, Dad, I mutter, running a hand through my hair. What the hell did you get us into? I stare at the screen, my vision blurring as the words swim before me. My hands shake as I scroll through the encrypted files I've just cracked open. This can't be real. It has to be a mistake. No, I mutter, frantically clicking through document after document. Each one confirms the horrifying truth. Damn! I slam my fist on the desk, sending papers flying. The truth hits me like a sucker punch to the gut. Human trafficking. My father, the man I looked up to, admired, strived to emulate. He was involved in human trafficking. Jesus Christ, I breathe, running my hands through my hair. I stand up roughly, knocking the chair on its side. There's no freaking way. The room spins around me as the implications of what I've discovered sink in. The silence mocks me. I struggle to my feet, stumbling back to my desk. The evidence is there, clear as day. Shipping manifests disguised as tech components. But the codes, they're for people. Human beings treated like cargo. My phone buzzes. It's another text from the board. I ignore it, my eyes fixed on the screen. They probably know all about it. Why else would they have cornered me at that damn meeting? Damn it! I yell, sweeping everything off my desk in a fit of rage. The crash echoes through the room, but it does nothing to quiet the storm in my head. I pace the office, my mind racing. How long has this been going on? How many people have suffered because of my father's actions? And how the hell did I not know about it? The weight of it all crashes down on me. I slump against the wall, feeling like I'm drowning. My father raised me to take over the company, training me to deal with scum like Sal, teaching me about the black market but still keeping this monstrous secret. Was it to protect me, or to ensure I'd be too naive to notice when I took over? Screw you, Dad, I spit out, glaring at his portrait on the wall. Screw you for putting me in this position, and screw me for being stupid enough to get Jay involved in it.
Chapter 17. Jasmine. I pad down the stairs, my bare feet silent against the cool marble. The house is quiet, save for the gentle hum of the air conditioning. My stomach growls, reminding me why I've ventured out of my self-imposed exile. As I round the corner into the kitchen, I freeze. Declan stands there, shirtless, his sweatpants hanging low on his hips. The muscles in his back ripple as he reaches for something in a high cabinet. I can't help but trace the lines of his tattoos with my eyes, remembering how they felt under my fingertips. He turns, a box of cereal in hand, and spots me. Our eyes lock, and for a moment, neither of us moves. I expect a barrage of questions, demands for explanations about my week-long disappearing act. Instead, he simply reaches for another bowl. Hungry? He asks, his voice low and rough. I nod, not trusting my voice. He pours cereal into both bowls, then adds milk. Without a word, he slides one across the island towards me. I approach cautiously, like he's a wild animal that might bolt if I move too quickly. As I sit on the stool across from him, the cool metal sends a shiver up my spine. Or maybe it's the way Declan's looking at me, his eyes dark and unreadable. We eat in silence for a few minutes, the only sound the crunching of cereal. I can feel the weight of unasked questions hanging between us. I force my eyes up from Declan's bare torso, trying not to linger on where his abdomen disappears into his sweatpants. My gaze lands on his face, and I'm struck by the dark circles under his eyes, stark against his skin. You look like crap, I blurt out before I can stop myself. Declan's lips quirk up in a tired smirk. Damn, Jay. You really know how to make a guy feel special. Heat rushes to my face. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... I stumble over my words, cursing my lack of filter. Have you been getting any sleep? He runs a hand through his disheveled hair, making it stick up in all directions. It shouldn't be attractive, but somehow it is. Sleep? Nah. He lets out a humorless chuckle. Been too busy trying to unravel this mess I'm in? I bite my lip, guilt gnawing at me. I should be happy he's struggling. It means I'm closer to exposing whatever's going on. But seeing him like this, vulnerable and exhausted, tugs at something in my chest. Instead, I ask, "What kind of mess are you in, Declan?" He studies me for a long moment, then sighs. The kind that keeps me up at night and makes me question everything I thought I knew. Like what? I press. He shakes his head, stirring his spoon in the leftover milk. You don't want to know the details. And he's right, I don't want to know, because if I do, it'll only paint a worse portrait of him. Despite everything, despite my job and what I know, I don't want that. But I have to know. My eyes drift down Declan's body, appreciating the sculpted muscles and intricate tattoos. But as I take in the full view, my breath catches in my throat. His torso is a patchwork of purple bruises and angry red cuts, some scabbed over, others still raw. Jesus Christ, I gasp, moving around the island without thinking. Declan turns, confusion etched on his face, but the movement only reveals more damage. Declan, why haven't you gone to the emergency room? I demand, my fingers hovering over a particularly nasty bruise on his ribs. Declan shrugs. It's nothing, just some leftover souvenirs from our little office party. I scoff, anger bubbling up inside me. Nothing? You look like you went 10 rounds with a meat tenderizer. My gaze drops to his hands, gripping the edge of the counter. His knuckles are a mess of purple and blue, split in places. Fury floods through me. Have you even seen a doctor? I ask, already knowing the answer. Declan's silence is all the confirmation I need. For heaven's sake, Declan, I growl, grabbing his wrist and pulling his hand closer for inspection. These could get infected. What were you thinking? He tries to pull away, but I tighten my grip. I've had worse, he mutters. That's not the point, I snap, looking up at him. But I'm not really angry, am I? No. My eyes focus on his split lip, and I drop his hand to reach up and inspect it. It shouldn't upset me to see a man like him covered in injuries because they come from being a criminal. But it does. It really does. Don't look at me like that, Declan says, his voice husky. I blink, caught off guard. Like what? Like you're in pain when I am? His eyes bore into mine, intense and searching. My heart catches in my throat. The way he's looking at me, it's as if he's the one who's worried about me. My fingers still hover over his split lip, and I can feel his warm breath on my skin. I start, but the words die on my tongue. How can I explain that seeing him hurt does cause me pain? That despite everything, I care about him more than I should? Declan's hand comes up, cupping my cheek. His thumb brushes over my cheekbone, and I can't help but lean into his touch. Jay, he murmurs, what's going on in that head of yours? I shake my head, trying to clear my thoughts. Nothing, everything, I don't know. He steps closer, and suddenly I'm aware of how little space there is between us. My back hits the edge of the counter, and Declan's arms cage me in. The heat radiating from his bare chest is intoxicating. Tell me, he demands softly. I look up at him, my resolve crumbling. Declan, I have to confess something. His eyebrows furrow, but before he can respond, a deafening explosion rips through the air. The front door blows inward, sending splinters of wood flying.
Chapter 18. Declan. The explosion rocks the house, sending shards of glass and debris flying. My body moves on instinct, shielding Jay from the blast. The acrid smell of smoke fills the air as I feel her trembling against me. "You okay?" I ask, my voice gruff with concern. She nods, her eyes wide. "What the hell was that?" "Nothing good," I mutter, reaching under the sink. My fingers close around the cold metal of the gun I've stashed there. Jasmine's eyebrows shoot up. "You keep a gun under your sink?" I arch an eyebrow at her. "You really want to have this conversation right now?" She opens her mouth, then closes it, shaking her head. "Smart girl," I say, grabbing her hand. "Come on." I lead her quickly through the house, my senses on high alert. Every creak of the floorboard sets my nerves on edge. When we reach the bedroom, I usher her inside. "Stay here," I order, turning to leave. Her hand on my arm stops me, her fingers gripping tighter than I expected. "Declan, wait," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. I look back at her, taking in the worry etched across her face. Something in her eyes makes me pause, rooting me to the spot. There's fear there. Yes, but also determination. And something else. Something that makes my heart race faster than the danger we're in. It's a look I've never seen before, one that sends a jolt of electricity through my body. Without thinking, I pull her to me, my hands cupping her face as I crush my lips against hers. She responds immediately, her body melting into mine as her hands slide over my bare abdomen, leaving a trail of heat in their wake. Her fingers explore every ridge and plane before wrapping around my waist, pulling me even closer. The feeling of her touch ignites a fire in me, one I never want to extinguish. It's more than just desire. It's a need, primal and all-consuming. In this moment, with Jay in my arms, I forget about the danger lurking outside. All I can focus on is the softness of her lips, the warmth of her body, and the intoxicating scent of her skin. I break the kiss, resting my forehead against hers. "I'll be right back, I promise." She nods, her fingers digging into my skin. "Be careful." I give her a cocky grin. "Always am." I step out into the chaos, my bare feet crunching on shattered glass. The acrid smell of smoke burns my nostrils as I survey the wreckage of my once pristine living room. Through the haze, I spot 3 figures emerging from the gaping hole where my front door used to be. "Well, well," I drawl, tightening my grip on the gun. "Didn't your mothers ever teach you to knock?" The tallest one, a brute with a face like a bulldog chewing a wasp, steps forward. "Should have kept your nose out of it, Reed. Now look what you made us do." I scoff, keeping my aim steady. "Made you do? Christ, you sound like my ex-girlfriend. Take some responsibility for your actions, boys." "We're just following orders," Bulldog growls. "Unlike you." "Following orders," I spit. "What are you, freaking stormtroopers? I run this company now and I want answers." A wiry guy to Bulldog's left pipes up. "Your old man knew how to play ball. Why can't you?" "Because I've got this pesky thing called a conscience," I snap. "Now, are we gonna stand here exchanging witty banter all night? Or are you gonna tell me what the hell is going on?" Bulldog takes another step forward, his meaty hands balling into fists. "You don't get to ask questions anymore, Reed. You're done." I bark out a laugh. "Done. I'm just getting started." That's when I notice movement behind them. More figures emerging from the smoke, their outlines blurring in the haze. This is about to get real ugly, real fast. "You boys brought backup?" I ask, trying to keep my voice level. I'm flattered. Didn't realize little old me warranted a whole army. Bulldog grins, revealing a mouthful of yellowed teeth. "We came prepared this time. No more Mr. Nice Guy." "Shame," I retort. "I was just starting to warm up to you." The gunfire erupts, shattering the tense silence. I duck behind an overturned table, my heart pounding in my ears. Bullets whiz past, splintering wood and shattering glass. The acrid smell of gunpowder fills the air. "Hell," I mutter, peeking around the edge of the table. More silhouettes materialize in the doorway, their outlines hazy through the smoke. This is bad. Real bad. I fire off a few shots, buying myself some time. The sound of breaking glass tells me I hit something, but it's not enough. There are too many of them, and I'm outnumbered. My mind races. I can't stay here. Jay's alone in the bedroom, probably scared out of her mind. I need to get back to her. Taking a deep breath, I make a run for it. Bullets pepper the wall behind me as I sprint down the hallway. My bare feet slap against the hardwood floor, glass shards biting into my skin. I ignore the pain, focus solely on getting to Jay. I burst into the bedroom, slamming the door shut behind me. Jay's on her feet in an instant, her eyes wide with fear and confusion. "What the hell is going on?" she demands as I start pushing the heavy oak dresser in front of the door. "Oh, you know," I grunt, straining against the weight. "Just some uninvited guests who don't know when to leave the party." "Declan, this isn't funny," Jay snaps, helping me shove the dresser into place. "Who are those people? Why are they shooting at us?" I turn to her, my eyes roaming over her disheveled appearance. Even scared and angry, she's beautiful. The sight of her wearing just a shirt I gave her makes me weak in the knees. My heart races, and I can't help but feel a surge of possessiveness. Damn, she looks good in my clothes. I push the thought aside, forcing myself to focus on the dire situation at hand. "It's complicated," I say, moving to the window. "I promise I'll explain everything later, but right now, we need to get out of here." "How?" she asks, her voice tight with frustration. "In case you haven't noticed, we're trapped in here." I throw open the window, feeling the cool night air on my face. Looking down, I gauge the distance. It's not ideal, but it's our only option. We're gonna have to jump.
Chapter 19. Jasmine. I stare at the open window, my heart pounding in my chest. The sound of footsteps and shouting grows louder behind the bedroom door. Declan's eyes bore into mine, urging me to jump. "No way." I shake my head. "Are you crazy?" "Trust me, Jay," he says, his voice low and intense. "It's our only shot." I glance back at the door, then to Declan's determined face. Damn it, he's right. "Damn it," I mutter, climbing onto the windowsill. The pool glimmers below, deceptively peaceful. At least it's water and not concrete. I take a deep breath, close my eyes, and leap. The air rushes past me for a split second before I plunge into the cold water. I surface, gasping, just as Declan hits the water beside me. His strong arms wrap around my waist, pulling me towards the edge. "You okay?" he asks, his eyes scanning my face. "Yeah," I manage, still catching my breath. "Let's go." Declan practically lifts me out of the pool, his muscles flexing as he hoists himself up after me. We sprint across the lawn, our wet clothes clinging to our bodies. The garage door opens with a touch of Declan's hand on a hidden panel. He shoves me towards a sleek black sports car. "Get in," he commands, sliding into the driver's seat. I barely have time to close my door before he guns the engine. We peel out of the garage, tires squealing against the pavement. Declan's jaw is set, his eyes focused on the road as he navigates the winding driveway at breakneck speed. My heart races, but not just from the danger. I can't help but notice how droplets of water run down his chest, how his biceps flex as he grips the steering wheel. His face is a mask of concentration, and I find myself mesmerized by the intensity in his eyes. What the hell is wrong with me? We're running for our lives, and all I can think about is how goddamn sexy he looks behind the wheel. I'm flipping crazy. The car screeches to a halt in front of a towering building, its glass facade glinting in the streetlights. Declan's out of the car before I can even unbuckle my seatbelt. "Come on," he barks, yanking my door open. I scramble out, my soaked clothes clinging uncomfortably to my skin. Declan, still shirtless and dripping wet, marches towards the entrance like he owns the place. I trail behind him, feeling completely out of my depth. The doorman's eyes widen as we approach, but Declan brushes past him without a word. The lobby is all marble and crystal, screaming luxury. I've never felt so out of place in my life. Declan strides up to the reception desk, leaving puddles in his wake. The receptionist's jaw drops. "Mr. Reed, Penthouse, now," Declan cuts her off, his voice brooking no argument. She fumbles with the computer, stealing glances at Declan's bare chest. I can't blame her. Even soaking wet and pissed off, he's a sight to behold. "Of course, sir. Right away." A key card appears in Declan's hand, and he's moving again. I hurry to keep up, feeling like a drowned rat next to him. The elevator ride is tense. Declan's jaw is clenched, his eyes fixed on the rising numbers. I want to say something, anything, but the words stick in my throat. The penthouse is massive. All sleek lines and modern art. 2 maids are tidying up, but they freeze when we enter. "Out," Declan snaps. They scurry towards the door, and I manage a weak "thank you" as they pass. As soon as the door clicks shut, Declan explodes. "Damn it," he roars, sweeping a vase off a nearby table. It shatters against the wall, water and flowers scattering across the floor. I flinch, backing away as he paces like a caged animal. "Those bastards," he snarls, kicking over a chair. "I'll kill them. I swear to God, I'll kill them all." His fist connects with the wall, leaving a dent in the plaster. I should be terrified, but all I can think is how unfairly attractive he looks, muscles rippling with each movement, water droplets trailing down his abs. "Declan," I say softly, trying to calm him down. He whirls to face me, his eyes blazing. For a moment, I think he might lash out, but then something in his expression shifts. "Jay," he breathes, closing the distance between us in 2 long strides. His hands cup my face, surprisingly gentle. "Are you okay? Did they hurt you?" I shake my head, unable to look away from his intense gaze. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, the adrenaline starting to wear off and reality's crashing down hard. I need answers, and I need them now. "Declan," I say, my voice surprisingly steady. "I haven't asked you to explain anything before, but now I need answers. What the hell is going on?" His eyes meet mine, and for a second I see a flicker of something. Guilt? Fear? But then his gaze drops, traveling down my body, and his expression shifts. "Christ, Jay," he mutters, running a hand through his wet hair. "I can't talk to you when your clothes are practically see-through." "What?" I glance down at myself and feel my stomach drop. The white shirt I'm wearing is completely soaked, clinging to every curve and leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination. I might as well be naked. My bra is clearly visible, and I can see the outline of my buds through the thin fabric. I'm mortified. "Crap," I hiss, crossing my arms over my chest. It's a futile gesture. The damage is already done. "Why didn't you say something earlier? I can't believe I've been standing here like this the whole time." How long has he been staring? Declan's lips quirk up in a half smile, his eyes still roaming over my body. I was a bit preoccupied with the whole running for our lives thing. Besides, he adds, his voice dropping to a low rumble that sends shivers down my spine, "I'm only human." I glare at him, trying to ignore the heat rising in my body. His intense gaze is making me feel things I definitely shouldn't be feeling right now. "You're impossible," I snap, more frustrated with myself than with him. Pushing him out of the way, I stomp into the bathroom and slam the door. I lean against it, heart pounding, trying to catch my breath. This is not the time to be distracted by Declan's smoldering looks or my own body's betrayal. I need to focus on the bigger picture. But first, I need to find some dry clothes.
Chapter 20. Declan. I hear the bathroom door open and my breath catches in my throat. Jay emerges wrapped in a fluffy hotel robe, her damp hair piled atop her head. Even without makeup, she's stunning. My fingers itch to touch her, but I clench them at my sides. Even covered up, she still looks good enough to take. "All right, time to talk," she says, her voice soft but firm. I nod, swallowing hard. "Yeah, we do." She settles onto the edge of the bed, crossing her legs. "Start from the beginning." I pace the room, running a hand through my hair. My company. It's not what it seems. It's a front for some black market dealings. When my father died, it was passed down to me. Her eyes narrow. "What kind of dealings?" "Doesn't matter." I stop, facing her. "But there's more. Something I didn't know until recently." She leans forward, her robe slipping slightly. I force my eyes to stay on her face. "My father, he made a deal with a crime lord for human trafficking." The words hang in the air between us. Jay's face contorts in shock and disgust. "Human trafficking?" she repeats, her voice barely above a whisper. I crouch in front of her, desperate for her to understand. "I swear to God, Jay, I didn't know. I only found out when I started digging into the missing money." She stands abruptly, putting distance between us. "But you knew about the rest of it? The black market crap?" "Yes, I knew about that. And you just went along with it." Her voice rises, anger replacing shock. "It's complicated, you wouldn't understand." I start, but she cuts me off. "Complicated? People's lives are being ruined, Declan. How is that complicated?" I clench my jaw, frustration bubbling up inside me. "You think I don't know that? Damn it, Jay. I've been trying to clean this crap up since I took over." She scoffs, pacing the room. "Clean it up? By continuing to sell crap on the black market? What is it? Drugs? Weapons?" "It's not that simple," I growl, running a hand through my hair. "You can't just walk away from this kind of operation." "Why not?" she challenges, her eyes flashing. "What's stopping you?" I laugh, but there's no humor in it. "Oh, I don't know. Maybe the fact that they'd kill me and everyone I care about?" Jay's face softens for a moment, but she doesn't back down. "So you're just going to keep ruining lives to save your own skin?" Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. "I'm doing the best I can with the hand I've been dealt," I snap. "At least I draw the line at human trafficking." "Oh, how noble of you," she says, voice dripping with sarcasm. I step closer, towering over her. "You have no idea what it's like to be in this position, to have everything you've ever known turn out to be a lie." She meets my gaze, unflinching. "Then enlighten me." I take a deep breath, trying to calm the storm inside me. When I started asking questions about the missing money, I thought maybe someone was embezzling. But the deeper I dug, the worse it got. Jay's brow furrows. "What do you mean?" "I uncovered a whole network of corruption that goes way beyond my company," I explain, my voice low and intense. "And now? Now I don't know who the hell I can trust." She steps back, processing this information. "Is that why those men attacked us?" I nod, feeling the weight of it all pressing down on me. "They want me to keep my mouth shut and play along, but I can't." Jay jumps to her feet, her robe cinching tighter as she moves. "I want to leave. Now." "Like hell you are!" I growl, stepping in front of her. "It's not safe out there." She tries to sidestep me, but I block her path. "Move, Declan. I can take care of myself." "Against trained killers? Don't be stupid, Jay." Her eyes flash dangerously. "Stupid? You're the one mixed up in all this crap." "You think I don't know that?" I run a hand through my hair, frustration building. "But right now, we're both in danger. You can't just walk out that door." "Watch me," she challenges, making another move for the exit. I grab her arm, gentle but firm. Jay, please. You have to stay. She yanks her arm free. Why? So I can be your hostage? For Christ's sake, you're not a hostage! I snap. I'm trying to protect you. I didn't ask for your protection. The words tumble out before I can stop them. I need you, damn it. Jay freezes, her expression a mix of shock and disbelief. No, you don't, she shouts back. You can't trust me either. I blink, taken aback. What the hell are you talking about? You heard me, she says, her voice trembling slightly. You can't trust me. I step closer, searching her face. Jay, you're being ridiculous. Of course I trust you. She looks away, her jaw clenched. I can see the internal struggle playing out across her features. Talk to me, I say, softer this time. What aren't you telling me? Jay takes a deep breath, her eyes meeting mine. There's a storm brewing in those hazel depths, and I brace myself for whatever's coming. My name isn't Jay. My name is Jasmine, she confesses, her voice barely above a whisper. I shrug, not seeing the issue. Hell, I've been called worse things than the wrong name. Okay, Jasmine, it is. Jay was just a nickname, I say, trying to lighten the mood. She shakes her head, her expression pained. There's more coming, isn't there? No, you don't understand, that's not it, she says, confirming my suspicion. I lean against the wall, crossing my arms over my chest. My jaw clenches, preparing for whatever bombshell she's about to drop. All right, I'm listening, I say, my voice gruff. Jay. Jasmine paces the room, her robe swishing with each step. The soft fabric clings to her curves, and I force myself to focus on her words, not her body. I'm an investigative journalist, she finally blurts out. The words hang in the air for a moment before I process their meaning. My blood runs cold, and I feel like I've been sucker punched. What? I manage to choke out, my mind reeling. She stops, turning to face me. Her eyes are wide, pleading, but I can barely see straight. I infiltrated your life to get a story. The missing people, the corruption. I was investigating your company and I was investigating you.
Chapter 21. Jasmine. I stand frozen, my heart pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. The words hang in the air between us, heavy and irretrievable. Declan's face is a mask of shock, his eyes boring into mine. An investigative journalist? He says, his voice dangerously low. You've been playing me this whole time? He advances on me, his jaw clenched. I back up until I hit the wall, but I refuse to cower. Not playing you, I say, lifting my chin. Investigating you, there's a difference. Is there? He growls, slamming his palm against the wall beside my head. Enlighten me. I meet his gaze steadily. You can drop the act, Declan. I know you won't hurt me. His eyes narrow. You don't know crap about me. I know more than you think, I counter. I know about the money being connected to your big tech releases. I know that you were looking into more money, missing money. Something other than what I assume now has been related to your black market bullcrap. But I started investigating you because my office got an anonymous tip that Reed Technologies was involved with the women. The missing children. I jut my chin out. I knew about the human trafficking before you did. I knew that people were going missing and that it was somehow related to his company. Me, not him. Surprise flickers across his face before he can hide it. How did you? Because I'm good at my job, I interrupt. His hand drops from the wall and he takes a step back. Tell me everything, he demands. Now. I take a deep breath. It started with the coffee. I orchestrated that whole disaster outside the bistro. I brought you to meet a fake family quickly to make you think I was serious. I've been digging into your company's finances since I saw those files in your office. Declan's expression hardens with each confession. And the rest of it? The intimacy, the sex, was that all part of your investigation too? I close my eyes briefly, shame washing over me. At first, yes, I admit. But then, God, Declan, I started falling for you, and I hated myself for it because of who you are. I open my eyes to find him staring at me, his expression unreadable. I'm sorry, I whisper. I never meant for any of this to happen. You know what I think? He mutters in a deep, gravelly tone. I think you like that I'm dangerous. His words cut through the tension in the room, and a part of me wants to argue, to deny the twisted truth in his accusation. But the raw desire in his eyes is undeniable, igniting a fire within me that I can't ignore. Now things are really heating up, aren't they? Unfortunately, we can't show you that here. This content is way too spicy for YouTube to handle. Find the decadent chapter conclusion over at TylaWalker.com and use code SAVE40 for fantastic savings on this and other bonus content. Back to our lovers.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 22. Jasmine. I wake to the sound of rustling fabric and the clink of metal. Blinking away the sleep from my eyes, I see Declan fastening his belt, already half-dressed. The sight of him sends a jolt through my body, memories of last night flooding back. Where are you going? I ask, my voice still rough from sleep. Declan's eyes snap to mine, cold and distant. What? Need some more drama for your story? His words hit me like a slap. I sit up, clutching the sheet to my chest. That's not fair. Fair? He scoffs, reaching for his jacket. You want to talk about fair? You can't be mad at me, I snap, anger rising in my chest. You're the criminal here, Declan, not me. He yanks on his jacket, his movements sharp and aggressive. Don't tell me what I'm allowed to feel, Jay. Oh, so you're only using my real name while you take me? I shoot back, pushing myself out of bed. That's rich coming from the guy who's been lying about everything since day one. Declan's jaw clenches. You don't know crap about me or my life. Because you won't tell me anything, I yell, frustration boiling over. Declan whirls back to face me, his eyes blazing. Lose the self-righteous act, Jasmine. The only reason you were interested in my life was for a damn article. That's not true. God, it was at first, but now. Tell me where you're going, I demand, my voice cracking with emotion. Declan doesn't answer. He just storms out of the bedroom, his footsteps heavy with anger. My heart races as I realize he's about to walk out that door, maybe for good. I can't let that happen. I sprint after him, bare feet slapping against the cold floor. Just as he reaches for the doorknob, I throw myself in front of it, one hand blocking the door and the other flat against his chest. Move, he growls, eyes blazing. No, I plant my feet firmly, chin raised in defiance. Not until you talk to me. We stand there, locked in a silent battle of wills. His jaw clenches, a muscle ticking in his cheek. I can see the storm raging behind those steel gray eyes, but I don't know how to reach him. He's cut me out, and he has every right. Finally, something in me breaks. The walls I've built, the lies I've told, they all come crashing down. "I'm sorry," I whisper, my voice thick with unshed tears. "God, Declan, I'm so sorry." He doesn't move, doesn't speak, but I can't stop now. "I never meant for any of this to happen," I continue, the words tumbling out like a dam breaking. My heart races, but I force myself to keep going. "I never meant to fall in love with you. God, Declan, it was the last thing I expected." Declan's eyes narrow, his jaw clenching. "Bull crap," he spits, the word like a slap across my face. "You're a liar, Jasmine. That's what you do. It's who you are." The accusation stings, cutting deep into my chest, but I stand my ground. I've come too far to back down now. "You're right," I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. "I lied about why I approached you. I lied about my intentions. I lied about so many things. But I'm not lying now. Not about this." Tears start to fall, silent tracks down my cheeks. I don't bother wiping them away. Let him see how much this is killing me. Let him see the raw, unfiltered truth of my emotions. "I love you," I confess, my voice stronger this time, fueled by the certainty in my heart. And it scares the crap out of me because I know I shouldn't, because it goes against everything I thought I knew about myself. But I do. I love you, Declan, and I can't take it back. I don't want to. For a long moment, Declan just stares at me. I can see the conflict in his eyes, the war between anger and something else, something softer. Then, without warning, his hands are on my face. His fingers tangle in my hair as he crushes his lips to mine in a bruising kiss. It's fierce and hungry, like he's been holding back for ages and can't contain himself anymore. Relief rushes through me like red-hot electricity, and I kiss Declan back with twice the desperation. My fingers tangle into his hair, gripping it tight as if it'll keep him from walking out. I press my body against his, feeling the solid warmth of his chest against mine. The world around us fades away, and all I can focus on is the taste of his lips, the scent of his skin, and the way his hands roam over my back, pulling me even closer. "You said you needed me," I breathe against his lips. "Well, I need you too, Declan. I don't give a damn about my boss or some article anymore." He pulls back, his eyes searching mine. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying, let me help you," I plead, my hand sliding down to cup his face. "We can figure this out together." Declan's jaw clenches. "How? You have no idea what you're getting into." "Maybe not," I admit. "But I'm a damn good investigative journalist. I can help you uncover the truth about your father's dealings." He scoffs, shaking his head. "And what good would that do? These people are dangerous, Jay. They won't hesitate to silence us." "Then," I say, the idea forming as I speak, "then we go to the press."
Chapter 23. Declan. "Are you out of your mind?" I demand, pacing the hotel room like a caged animal. My heart's racing, and not in the good way it does when Jasmine's around. "We can't go to the press. I'll end up in prison or worse with a hit on my head for being a damn snitch." Jasmine steps in front of me, her hands raised in a placating gesture. "Declan, please, just hear me out." I stop, running a hand through my hair. "Fine. Talk." She takes a deep breath. "We break the story to the press and police. You tell them you discovered the human trafficking ring after inheriting your father's company. We spin it as you being the whistleblower, The hero who uncovered this terrible crime. I scoff. And how exactly does that keep me out of prison? Because you'll be the one exposing it, she says, her eyes lighting up with that determined fire I've come to admire. We present you as the shocked son who inherited more than just a company. You inherited a nightmare. You're the one who brought it to light, risking everything to do the right thing. I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head. You're not getting it, Jasmine. My empire isn't just some freaking hobby. It's my generations of my family's work, everything I've built. And yeah, it might be tainted, but it's all I've got. Jasmine's eyes narrow, her jaw set in that stubborn way I've come to both admire and dread. Is your empire more important than thousands of innocent lives? The words hit me like a sucker punch to the gut. I turn away, unable to meet her gaze. I'm a criminal, Jasmine. You said so yourself. But you're my criminal, she snaps back, her gaze blazing passionately. And I'll be damned if I'm about to let you be taken from me when I've only just found you. I stare at her, my heart pounding so hard I swear she can hear it. Her words echo in my ears. You're my criminal. The possessiveness in her voice sends a shiver down my spine, igniting something primal within me. I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't want her. But God help me, I do. You're criminal? I can't help but repeat, a mix of disbelief and something dangerously close to hope coloring my voice. My hands clench at my sides, itching to reach out and touch her. Jasmine's eyes flash with determination, a fire burning in those hazel depths that threatens to consume us both. Don't you dare mock me, Declan. I've played by the rules my entire life, always taking the high road, never asking for more than I deserved. But this... She gestures between us, her hand trembling slightly. This is what I want. You're what I want. And I'll be damned if I let you slip through my fingers now. Her words hit me like a sucker punch, knocking the air from my lungs and leaving me reeling. I've never had anyone fight for me like this before. It's intoxicating, and for a moment, I let myself believe it could be true. That I could have this. Have her. Jasmine, I breathe, her name a prayer on my lips. I want to kiss her so badly it makes me ache. But reality crashes back in, cold and unforgiving. You don't know what you're saying. Going to the press. It's not just about me. You'll be painting a target on your own back. These people, they won't stop coming after you. Ever. She steps closer, her chin tilted up defiantly. You think I don't know that? I'm not some naive little girl, Declan. I've dealt with dangerous people before. Not like this, I growl, frustration building. This isn't some corrupt politician or greedy CEO. These are people who disappear others for a living. They won't hesitate to... To what? Jasmine interrupts, her voice sharp. Kill me? Torture me? I'm well aware of the risks. But I'm not about to let fear dictate my life. You wouldn't let it control yours. I run a hand through my hair, pacing the room like a caged animal. You don't understand. I watch as Jasmine's eyes light up with a dangerous glimmer. It's a look I've seen before, and it never fails to send a shiver down my spine. Then we'll just have to be on the run together, she declares, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and determination that makes my heart race. No. The word comes out harsher than I intend, but I can't help it. My jaw clenches as I struggle to keep my emotions in check. The thought of Jasmine constantly looking over her shoulder, living in fear because of me. It's too much to bear. It twists my gut into knots. I won't have the woman I love living like that. You deserve better. Jasmine's eyes widen, her lips parting in surprise. A small gasp escapes her. You love me? I can't help but chuckle, the sound low and warm in my chest. Damn this woman. Even in the midst of all this chaos, she can still make me feel like a lovesick teenager. My hand reaches out, cupping her cheek gently. Her skin is soft under my calloused palm, and and I marvel at the contrast. It's like silk against sandpaper. You'd be dead if I didn't, baby, I murmur, leaning in to place a gentle kiss on her lips. The touch is electric, sending sparks through my body. I pull back just enough to look into her eyes, my thumb tracing her jawline. And that's why I can't let you throw your life away for me. You mean too damn much. As I pull back, I see the vulnerability in her eyes, the hope mixed with fear. It's a look that makes my chest ache and my resolve harden. The only way to protect you is for me to be feared, I tell her, my voice low and serious. After all, I am my father's son. Chapter 24. Declan. I stride into the conference room, Jasmine at my side, her presence both a comfort and a source of strength. The room falls silent as we enter, all eyes turning to us. I can feel the tension, thick and heavy, settling over the room like a suffocating blanket. Gentlemen, I say, my voice carrying easily across the room, cutting through the tension like a knife. I believe we have some matters to discuss. I can feel Jasmine's steady presence beside me, giving me the strength to face these vultures. I take my seat at the head of the table, the leather chair creaking slightly under my weight. Jasmine settles into the chair to my right, her posture as straight and unyielding as mine. The others shift uncomfortably, exchanging wary glances. I can practically smell their fear and uncertainty. Let's cut the bullcrap, I say, leaning forward and fixing each of them with a hard stare. It seems there's been some confusion about who's running things around here, and I'm here to set the record straight. Who is she? Someone asks, jerking their head to gesture to Jasmine with a look of disgust. None of your damn business, I snap. May I continue? One of the older men, Thompson, clears his throat. His weathered face is a mask of false concern. Declan, we understand you're new to this, but... New? I interrupt, my voice sharp enough to make him flinch. My father has been dead for over a year now, and it's time you all remembered that. I feel a surge of anger at their blatant disrespect. Who the hell do they think they are? I stand abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. I plant my hands on the table and lean forward, my eyes blazing. This company, and everyone associated with it, belongs to me. I am my father's successor, and it's about damn time you all started acting like it. I pause, letting my words sink in. If any of you have a problem with that, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. The room is dead silent. I can see the shock on their faces, mixed with a healthy dose of fear. Good. That's exactly what I want. Now, I continue, my voice low and dangerous, we're going to make some changes around here, starting with the human trafficking operation. A murmur of surprise ripples through the room. Jasmine tenses beside me, but I place a reassuring hand on her shoulder. It's being shut down, effective immediately. The room erupts into chaos, voices shouting over each other, faces red with anger and disbelief. You can't do that, someone yells. I slam my fist on the table, the sound echoing through the room like a gunshot. Everyone falls silent. I can, and I will, I growl. This isn't up for debate. It's happening. Anyone who has a problem with that can walk out that door right now. But I promise you, you won't like what's waiting for you on the other side. As I finish laying down the law, a chair scrapes harshly against the floor. I turn to see Johnson, one of the older board members, standing up. His face is beet red, veins pulsing in his neck. You little crap, he spits, slamming his fist on the table. You think you can just waltz in here and change everything? You killed 3 of my best men. Our livelihood is on the line here. I raise an eyebrow, unimpressed. Your best? If those were your best, I'd hate to see your worst. What about the livelihood of the women and children who are being trafficked just to pad your pockets so you can go to the strip club and get your old sausages sucked? Screw you, Reed, Johnson bellows. You have no idea what kind of mistake you're making right now. I lean back in my chair, folding my arms across my chest. Oh, I think I do. The question is, do you? Johnson's nostrils flare. He glares at me, then at Jasmine before stomping towards the door. This isn't over, he growls, yanking it open. Actually, it is, I call after him. The door slams shut, leaving a ringing silence in its wake. I turn back to the remaining board members, their faces a mix of shock and fear. Now, gentlemen, let me give you some advice. Cut your ties with Johnson, and do it soon. But he's been with the company for years, one of them protests weakly. I lean forward, my voice low and dangerous. And in those years, how many lives has he ruined? How many people has he sold like cattle? The man shrinks back in his seat. I continue. I don't give a damn how long he's been here. He's a liability now, and liabilities get cut. Jasmine shifts beside me, her hand brushing against mine under the table. I feel a surge of strength from her touch. Listen carefully, I say, my gaze sweeping across the room. Things are changing. You can either change with them, or you can follow Johnson out that door. But I promise you, if you choose the latter, you'll regret it. I scan the room, watching as the tension slowly dissipates. One by one, the board members nod their agreement. They're falling in line just as I knew they would. Power recognizes power, after all. Smart choice, gentlemen, I say, a hint of a smirk playing at my lips. Now, let's discuss our new direction. As I begin outlining my plans, I feel Jasmine's fingers trail along my shoulders. Her touch is light, almost teasing, but it sends a jolt of electricity through me. I fight to keep my focus on the task at hand, but damn if she doesn't make it difficult. Any questions? I ask, wrapping up my brief. The room remains silent. Good. They're learning. I stand, adjusting my jacket. One more thing before we adjourn, I say, my voice dropping to a dangerous growl. The woman beside me? She's off limits. If anyone so much as looks at her wrong, I won't hesitate to put a bullet between their eyes. Are we clear? The room collectively swallows, a chorus of nervous "yes, sir" echoing around the table. I nod, satisfied. Meeting adjourned. With that, I stride towards the door, Jasmine matching my pace. As we exit, I catch her eye, a small smile playing at her lips. Was that really necessary? She whispers, her voice a mix of amusement and exasperation. I shrug, grinning. Just setting some ground rules, darling. We make our way down the hallway, our footsteps echoing in the empty space. The air feels lighter now, like a storm has passed. But I know better. This is just the calm before an even bigger tempest.
Chapter 25. Jasmine. I watch as the last of Declan's associates file down the hallway from inside his office. Their faces a mix of shock and begrudging acceptance. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. As the door closes behind them, I turn to Declan, my heart racing. Well, that was intense, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. But Declan, we need to talk about something. He raises an eyebrow, his piercing gaze fixed on me. What's on your mind, baby? I take a deep breath. It's about my job. You know I was sent to investigate you, to uncover the human trafficking. But now that you're shutting it down, I trail off, unsure how to continue. Declan's lips curl into a smirk. Let me guess. You've got no story, and your boss is breathing down your neck? I nod, feeling a twinge of guilt. I've been avoiding his calls. I don't know what to tell him. To my surprise, Declan chuckles. Oh, Jasmine, you're worried about nothing. He leans in close, his voice low and conspiratorial. Give your boss your story. I know exactly who's to blame for all this criminal activity. My eyes widen. What? Johnson, Declan says, his eyes darkening. The asshole who just stormed out of here like a petulant child. I feel a rush of excitement. Are you serious? That's huge, Declan. If we can prove it. We, he interrupts, eyebrow raised. Yes, we, I say firmly. I'm in this with you now, remember? My criminal. I can't help but smile as I echo my earlier words. Declan's expression softens for a moment before his usual cocky grin returns. All right, but we need to be smart about this. Johnson's dangerous, and he's not going to go down without a fight. I can handle dangerous, I retort, crossing my arms. Or have you forgotten how we met? He laughs, a deep, rich sound that sends shivers down my spine. Oh, I remember. You're one hell of a woman, Jasmine Thomas. And don't you forget it, I say, stepping closer to him. I take a deep breath, steeling myself as I push open the door to my boss's office. The familiar scent of stale coffee and printer ink hits me, and I'm reminded of how long it's been since I've set foot in here. Well, look who decided to grace us with her presence, Jameson drawls from behind his cluttered desk. His eyes narrow as he takes me in. You've got some explaining to do, Thomas. I stride forward, confidence in every step. I know, and I'm sorry for dropping off the grid, but trust me, it was necessary. I drop a thick folder on his desk, and it was worth it. His eyes the folder suspiciously. This better be good. You had us worried sick. It's more than good, I say, leaning forward. It's the story of the year. As he flips through the pages, his eyes widen. Human trafficking? Reed Enterprises? Jesus Christ, Jasmine. I know it looks bad, I say quickly. But Declan Reed isn't the villain here. He inherited this mess from his father, and he's been working to shut it down. Jameson looks up sharply. And how do you know that? I take a deep breath. Because I've been working with him. He's the one who gave me all this information. Working with him? His voice drips with skepticism. Or sleeping with him? I feel my face heat up, but I keep my voice steady. We've uncovered the real mastermind behind the trafficking ring, a man named Johnson. Declan's already started dismantling the operation from the inside. Jameson leans back in his chair, studying me. And your blatant disregard for your job? You stopped all contact at the drop of a hat. We thought you were kidnapped, or worse, dead. I was following leads, I say smoothly. Things got complicated, but I'm fine, and I've got the story of a lifetime to show for it. I watch Jameson's face as he flips through the documents, his eyes widening with each page. The crease between his brows deepens, and I can practically see the gears turning in his head. This is incredible, he finally says, looking up at me. The depth of this operation, the names involved, it's mind-blowing. I can't help the surge of pride that rushes through me. I know, it's bigger than we ever imagined. Jameson leans back in his chair, shaking his head in disbelief. And Reed just handed this over to you? Why? I take a deep breath, knowing this is the moment of truth. Because he wants to make it right. He inherited this mess, and he's been busting his ass to make it right. And you believe him? Jameson's eyes narrow skeptically. I do, I say firmly. I've seen it firsthand. He's not the villain here, Jameson. He's a good man. Something in my tone must give me away, because Jameson's expression shifts. Thomas, he says slowly. What aren't you telling me? I straighten my spine, meeting his gaze head on. I've fallen in love with him. The silence that follows is deafening. Jameson's face goes through a range of emotions, shock, disbelief, anger, before settling on disappointment. "You've got to be kidding me," he says, his voice low and dangerous. "Tell me you're joking." "I'm not," I reply, my heart racing but my voice steady. "I know it's not what you want to hear, but—" "Not what I want to hear," Jameson explodes, slamming his hand on the desk. "It's unprofessional, it's reckless, it's the truth," I interrupt. "And it doesn't change the facts of the story." Jameson stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. The facts are that you've compromised yourself and this entire investigation. You're fired, Jasmine." The words hit me like a physical blow, but I refuse to show it. "You can't fire me for falling in love. I can fire you for getting personally involved with the subject of investigation," he snaps. "Clean out your desk. You're done here." I don't put up any more fight. What's the point? Jameson's made up his mind, and arguing will only make things worse. With a heavy sigh, I turn and walk out of his office, my head held high despite the ache in my chest. As I pack up my desk, shoving years of memories into a cardboard box, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. Anger at Jameson for not seeing the bigger picture, disappointment in myself for crossing that line, but mostly a strange sense of relief. It's over. No more lies, no more hiding. I make my way back to the hotel, my mind racing. How will he react? Will he think I've screwed everything up? When I walk in, Declan's pacing the living room, phone to his ear. He hangs up as soon as he sees me, his brow furrowed with concern. "Jasmine, what happened?" I set the box down and meet his gaze. "I got fired." His eyes widen. "What? Why?" I let out a humorless laugh. "Take your pick. Lying about my whereabouts, getting personally involved with the subject of an investigation. Oh, and falling in love with said subject." Declan's expression softens. He steps closer, cupping my face in his hands. "I'm sorry, baby. This is my fault." I shake my head. "No, it's not. I deserved it, Declan. I lied. I hid the truth. I broke every rule in the book." "But you only gave them real evidence," he argues. "The story of the century. If I'd known he was going to be a prick about it, I never would have let you give it to him. Would have saved the company a lot of trouble with the legal bullcrap coming our way." "Maybe," I concede. "But that doesn't change the fact that I crossed a line, professionally and personally." Declan steps closer, cupping my chin before drawing me in for a kiss. "Screw it," I smirk. "That's what got me here in the first place, remember?" "Cute," he chuckles, kissing me again. "Where do we go from here?" I wonder, gazing up into his eyes. "Wherever we want."
Chapter 26. Declan. The clock on my desk reads 7:02 p.m., another late night at the office. When did this become my life? My phone buzzes. It's Jasmine. "Coming home soon?" I sigh, guilt gnawing at me. "Sorry, babe. Got caught up with work. I'll be there soon." I slam my fist on the desk, sending papers flying. This isn't how it was supposed to be. We were supposed to have our happily ever after, weren't we? But life's not a fairy tale. The past 9 months have been a complete nightmare. Sure, we took down Johnson and his trafficking ring, but at what cost? My company's in shambles, both the legit side and the not-so-legit. There's court dates, upcoming trials, and my calendar is a mess. And Jasmine. Christ, Jasmine. She gave up everything for me. Her career, her principles. And what have I given her in return? Late nights and broken promises. I grab my jacket and head for the door. Enough's enough. It's time I start putting her first. The drive home is a blur of neon lights and regret. When I finally stumble through our front door, the apartment's dark and quiet. "Jay," I call out softly. No answer. I make my way to the bedroom, half expecting to find her asleep. Instead, my phone chimes with a message from her. "Hanging out with a friend. Will you be home for dinner?" I stare at the words, my heart sinking. I've really screwed this up. But maybe this is my chance to make things right. I roll up my sleeves and get to work. The kitchen's a mess by the time I'm done, but the results are worth it. Jasmine's favorite pasta dish sits steaming on the table, surrounded by flickering candles. A bottle of her preferred wine chills in an ice bucket nearby. As I light the last candle, I hear keys jingling at the door. Crap, she's early. I quickly dim the lights and straighten my shirt. Jasmine steps in, her eyes widening as she takes in the scene. "Declan? What's all this?" I move towards her, drinking in the sight of her. God, she's beautiful, even with her hair mussed from the wind and confusion etched on her face. "This," I say, gesturing to the table, "is me trying to show you how much you mean to me." She raises an eyebrow. "With pasta?" I can't help but chuckle. With pasta, wine, and my undivided attention. No work, no distractions. Just us. Jasmine's eyes soften, but I can still see the wariness there. "Dec, you don't have to." "I do," I interrupt, taking her hands in mine. "I've been a crappy boyfriend lately, and you deserve better. You deserve the world, Jasmine." She bites her lip, fighting a smile. "The world, huh? That's a tall order." I pull her closer, my voice dropping low. "I'm up for the challenge if you are." Jasmine laughs, a sound I've missed more than I realized. "All right, Mr. Smooth. Let's see what you've got." I lead her to the table, pulling out her chair. As we sit down to eat, I can feel the tension between us start to melt away. We talk, really talk, for the first time in weeks. About work, about us, about everything. "Close your eyes," I tell her, my voice barely above a whisper. She quirks an eyebrow at me but complies, her long lashes fanning out against her cheeks. I reach into the bag I'd stashed under the table and pull out the sleek black box I'd hidden there earlier. "No peeking," I chide gently as I place it in front of her. Jasmine's lips curve into a smile, anticipation lighting up her features. "What's this?" "A gift. Now open your eyes." She does, and her eyes widen as she lifts the lid, revealing the lingerie nestled inside. It's a delicate piece, lace and silk in a deep, rich red that I knew would look stunning against her skin. Her fingers trace the edges of the fabric, a soft gasp escaping her lips. "Dec, it's beautiful." I lean back in my chair, watching her closely. "I want you to try it on." Jasmine looks up at me, a playful glint in her eye. "Right now?" "Right now," I confirm, my tone leaving no room for argument. She stands, the chair scraping against the floor, and saunters towards the bedroom, casting a sultry look over her shoulder that has my shaft twitching in anticipation. While she's gone, I pour myself another glass of wine, the seconds ticking by like goddamn hours. Finally, the bedroom door opens and Jasmine steps out. Oh, my God. The lingerie clings to her like a second skin, the red a stark contrast to her dark skin. The lace cups her chest perfectly, leaving little to the imagination, while the silk hugs her hips and ass, a tiny bow sitting right at the apex of her thighs. I'm on my feet before I even realize it, my glass abandoned as I close the distance between us. My hands find her waist, pulling her against me, and I capture her lips in a searing kiss that leaves us both breathless. "You're exquisite," I murmur against her mouth, my hands roaming over the silk, feeling the heat of her through the fabric. Jasmine's response is to drop her hand to my slacks, palming myself with a boldness that makes me groan. "I could say the same about you," she teases, her fingers tracing the outline of my shaft. I growl low in my throat, the sound almost feral. Careful, love. Keep that up, and this fashion show will be over before it's even begun. She chuckles, the sound vibrating against my lips. Well, we wouldn't want that, would we? With a swift movement, I spin her around, my hands gripping her hips as I guide her towards the wall. My lips trail down her neck, nipping and sucking at the sensitive skin there, while my hands explore every curve and dip of her body. Jasmine arches into my touch, her breath hitching as I hook my fingers into the waistband of the lingerie and drag it down her legs, enjoying the view of her plump ass. "Declan," she breathes, her voice a plea and a promise all at once. What a great story, huh? Find the conclusion that you really want for this chapter over at TylaWalker.com. Using code SAVE40 will yield you super savings on this and other amazing bonus extras. Back to our story.